Welcome back, boxing fans, to another great show with Sean on boxing and Lily. Lily's very psyched up for today's fight card. We just had Safar beat Miller in what was a one-sided beatdown, and because of that, it became a little boring. But it wasn't a bad fight. Safar shows a lot of skill. It'll be interesting to see him obviously step up his level of competition against some legitimate cruiserweight opponents. Miller, he looked very limited but tough, but a guy that obviously has potential brain damage issues to deal with because he just got hit far too much in that fight. But overall, it wasn't a bad fight to start the card. We still have some big fights coming up tonight. Let's take a look. So, where are we? Oh my God, I hate BoxRec. Come on, BoxRec. If you push the button, nothing moves, and it's going to tell me to sign in. Oh, BoxRec. You're mental. Jaime's in the house. What's up, my man? Oh, come on. Oh. So, who do we got to look forward to for the rest of the day? Obviously, Joshua Edwards, the great young American fighter, very exciting. Potentially, maybe the next great American heavyweight, right? Obviously, I think at this point he's still a cruiserweight fighter, but the difference between cruiserweight and heavyweight won't take too long, especially when you see the money differences. But Joshua Edwards definitely looks like potentially the next great American. Can he live up to that expectation? We will find out. Obviously, we had high expectations for Big Baby uh, Anderson as well, but so far he's disappointed in big ways, mostly because of his mental sort of mentality of not really being a diehard boxer, a guy that wanted the money and wanted to get out. And because of that, you have to question his heart. You also have Amari Jones, a very good young American fighter as well. Darius Fulgrim against David Stevenson, which potentially might be the most exciting fight on this card today. And of course, Virgil Ortiz versus Erickson Lubin, which could be a great fight. Uh, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. But, most people definitely think it's a solid fight. For Ortiz, he is the guy that's seen as a world class fighter. Lubin at this point is kind of seen more as a stepping stone kind of guy, a guy that if you want to prove that you're one of the best guys in the division, you're going to need to go through him. And the only problem with this fight is, of course, for Ortiz, he's already had several fights of this level. So this seems to be sort of stagnation. We're kind of interested to see him step up and try to become a world champion finally in his life. But unfortunately, he's taking on another opponent that's, you know, won't get him a world title. And I don't know how really interested people are for this card. Obviously, I mean, we know DAZN is only putting out pay-per-view fights now. All the UK fight cards with fighters nobody knows and fight cards that are garbage are pay-per-view. But this card is not bad. And with this main event, they still didn't think this was good enough to be pay-per-view. Lubin still got PTSD from that old 154-pound era. To be fair, I mean, Lubin hasn't been so bad, right? It's just obviously when he stepped up his level of competition, he's kind of been exposed, right? So it'll be interesting to see if this is the opportunity he can grab by the horns. Because for him, if he beats Virgil Ortiz Jr., you could definitely mark him as one of the two or three best fighters in the division. At this point, if he loses, especially if he loses in a sensational fashion, he's probably going to be sliding down to around 9 or 10, maybe even outside of the top 10 of the 154-pound division with another loss. Yeah, Banana Rosario. But he didn't lose to Banana Rosario. That was, what's his face? Williams, right? That lost to him. Is it 50-50? If you look at Lubin's performance against Ramos, and Ramos was a guy people really felt was going to destroy Lubin, especially based on his length and his power. But the way that Lubin was able to really nullify him definitely makes Lubin a 50-50 opponent. But in saying that, styles do make fights, right? The difference between Virgil Ortiz and Ramos is obviously clear. Ramos is a guy that's looked good against subpar opponents. Ortiz has looked good against very good opponents, very high level opponents, and he's able to go through the gears. Whereas at that point, Ramos never showed he's able to go through the gears. And in that fight, that was really the stumbling block. The fact that he fell into sort of step with Lubin and fought at Lubin's pace and never, asserted himself, never sort of tried to take over that fight and just allowed it to unfold in front of him and ended up having what was a very disappointing performance. Thus, him moving to 160 pounds, which doesn't make much sense, but it is what it is. Only John Boxing thinks Lubin's is more skilled than Ortiz. Well, John's always going to pick the black guy to win. So, we know that to be true. Unlike most boxing fans, they break down fights based on, previous fights, style matchups, and then they use that to sort of think about how the fight's going to unfold, right? Even if they end up picking a fighter that they don't like over a fighter they do like, it's because stylistically they can see how this guy is going to, perform against that style. With Lubin, he's been knocked out several times. He's not the most active fighter, right? He's a solid guy with solid skills, that's tough and has a lot of experience. But does he have enough to beat Virgil Ortiz? Is he going to knock out Virgil Ortiz? That would really be a shock. Really a shock. But yeah, we know why John picked him, because John's been hyping up Lubin for years, right? Because the only two fighters in the division he could hype up, three were Williams, Lubin, and of course Charlo. Everybody else was non-Black American, and so he couldn't support them or say anything positive about them as far as being boxers. But Lubin and Williams both were exposed. Even Charlo, to an extent, was exposed. The guy has really 2 losses in his resume. Why is boxing tribal? Well, because it's an individual sport and ethnicity does play a big role. I understand why it's tribal, and I don't have a problem with tribal. Like if John only supported black fighters and always predicted black fighters to win, that wouldn't bother me. I expect it, right? I'm not surprised when John only picks the black fighter. Like today, Joshua Edwards, everyone's picking him, but for him to pick Joshua Edwards to win, I expect that. Even if he doesn't know these 2 fighters, never heard of either one of them, when he saw this black guy get into the ring with this Mexican, I know he's going to pick the black guy to win, right? It's kind of like when you go to the racetrack and look at horses. There's something about certain horses that just grabs your attention and makes you want to support them. With sports guys, specifically boxers, the obvious connection is what attracts a lot of fans to them, right? I mean, mind you, in this case, Joshua looks like a real athlete. Mesa looks like a fat fucking sausage. So it's no wonder that people would support Joshua Edwards. Me too. But, tribalism is not bad. It's just when you use tribalism to hate on other tribes. You don't need to do that. For you to be a pro-black YouTube channel, you don't need to hate on Asians, fucking Eastern Europeans, and Mexicans. You barely need to even talk about them unless it relates purposely to black American fighters, right? But here we go. Joshua Edwards is in against Vurus. Must be a South African. Joshua Edwards, obviously very good amateur pedigree. The dude's got those thick legs, which obviously going to generate a lot of power. He's also got pretty good fluid movement for a big guy, like a cruiserweight. Obviously, he's still young in his career, but I definitely think that the possibility of him being the next great American heavyweight is a possibility. How tall is Edwards? If he's like around 6'4", then he's kind of in a similar situation to Usyk, right? And if Usyk was able to dominate the heavyweight division, why couldn't somebody else? Example, Joshua Edwards. But I'm not sure how big he is. If he's like 6'1", that might have problems leading into the future. He's 6'3", so that's not bad. Same size as Ali, same size as George Foreman, virtually the same size as Usyk. So we've had lots of great 6'3" heavyweights. So, and he's definitely got a fan-friendly style. You can see he's got very good amateur pedigree. And unfortunately, a lot of heavyweights, they just don't have great amateur pedigree. So once they get into this higher level opponents, they don't have the skill set of a Usyk, right? Or an Evander Holyfield. But I think Joshua Edwards definitely has the skills. He's able to use his jab very well. Good foot movement. Able to turn guys, which isn't something you usually see heavyweights do. Good jab to the body. How old is he? 25 years old, which is a pretty good age for a heavyweight, right? Not too young. Not like, say, a Tomo, only 20 years old. A guy like Edwards, he's 25, so by the time 25 to 30, he's going to probably spending most of that time as a cruiserweight. Once he gets to 30, he's going to be ready to go right into the pros in the heavyweight division and fight for world titles. And from 30 to 35 is pretty much the perfect time for heavyweights. And the guy he's fighting, even though he looks like a garbage man in there, as far as his physicality, he's not bad. He's a tough dude. Sean, why don't Golden Boy push or prioritize black fighters? Well, don't say that. Golden Boy did. Wilder, the Charlos, Spence, all those guys were fucking Golden Boy fighters. All the PBC fighters that you've looked at and watched for years, all of them were Golden Boy fighters until Al Heyman stole them, right? And created the PBC and wanted to just take over Golden Boy. But obviously Oscar De La Hoya woke up from his drug-induced coma just in time to stop that from happening. But like all those fighters that he worked with were all black Americans. And the only ones that stayed with him were the Mexicans. So if he feels a little more loyal to Mexicans at this time through tribalism and, cultural familiarity, I can understand. He still has black fighters that he works with, but obviously he's invested more time into Mexican fighters, Mexican Americans. Yeah, heavyweights do age differently. Golden Boy is the Latino PBC. Well, J.A., you're ignoring the whole historical context, right, of why Golden Boy turned into the Latin PBC. And you say that, but right now, when you watch a lot of those PBC cards, most of the undercards were all fucking Latino fighters. The one channel that had more black Americans was fucking Top Rank, right? But yet everyone called Top Rank and fucking Bob Arum racist. Yet they're the ones consistently developing, grooming, signing, and building up black American fighters. Golden Boy, mostly Mexicans, Latinos, and fucking PBC. The last 2 or 3 years, outside of maybe the main event that had a black fighter that people were familiar with, everybody on the other card was all Latin American. All. So they were going Latin because that's what the market was dictating. And culturally, you can question me if you want, but unfortunately, a lot of these black American athletes are too entitled. Too entitled, want to get paid too much money before they do anything, and then consistently fucking hurt themselves outside by not being professional enough. We can look at the whole PBC stable, and every example shows you that, right? Fucking Broner, Tank Davis, the Charlos, Errol Spence, Deontay Wilder, all fucking because of lack of professionalism, they shot themselves in their foot consistently. Virgil is going to kill this dude. Virgil ain't Ramos. Yeah, and I agree. He's not. But remember, David, at one point you loved Ramos, and you probably thought Ramos was better than Virgil. So remember what you once said before. Golden Boy tried to put Schofield, but he's too unreliable. Exactly. Once again, a black American fighter, unprofessional, you know, thinks that he deserves more than he does. This is a guy that got a super opportunity and fucking blew it, and then acted like it was everybody else's fault, and then literally was given another big opportunity and fucking threw that away as well, time after time, right? And this has nothing to do with race, because this is a cultural situation. When people look at Asian fighters and Eastern Europeans, you'll never hear people say that these guys aren't professional, aren't dedicated, aren't hard workers, right? Don't focus on their sport consistently, always in the gym, always in shape. Are they necessarily as athletic with the upside of a lot of black American fighters? No, but athleticism and upside doesn't mean anything unless you're professional enough to actually get the most out of yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You look at the NBA. The NBA now is being dominated by non-American fucking players. Does that mean American players aren't still potentially the best players in the world? No, most people would say they are. But the problem is, coming out of high school, these kids think they're fucking better than they are. They think they deserve more than they deserve. They're getting paid money in high school. Now they are getting paid in university. So these kids, by the time they're 20 years old, think they're already fucking Michael Jordan. How do you deal with these kind of people? Right? Contractually, it becomes a fucking issue because they don't appreciate anything. They're consistently thinking they deserve more than they do, even though not everybody fucking in the PBC is a pay-per-view star. Actually, the only one that probably was maybe Spence and Tank Davis. Machado, what's up? Yeah, with Conwell recently also. Conwell, I like Conwell. He's a throwback fighter. He is the kind of guy you would say is really professional, but not necessarily as good as some other guys. Most of these fighters come off wealthy in the end, even though they may have lost. Wilder, Tank Broner is the one who fucked all his money up. Well, they all got money. They all got paid by the PBC, but basically it fucked over boxing because they forced us to buy pay-per-view fights that weren't worthy of pay-per-view, forcing these guys to get paid more money than they deserved. So they fought once a year and then picked and chose who they want to fight, not necessarily fighting who boxing fans wanted them to fight because they're already getting paid a lot of money, right? They're already getting paid more than they deserve. So now they think they're superstars, but none of them are superstars. Do you think Tank has the IQ to get into Harvard like Funduro? Fuck no. Is Funduro in Harvard University? Well, I don't know if anybody wants to go to university anymore in the States. If I was talking to any of you and you were young enough to go to university or you had kids that you were thinking you wanted to put to university, I would say don't even bother. College, get a fucking trade. Down the road, you can create your own business. You can fucking build wealth because you can have your own business. You can end up building off of that, build more branches, eventually sell it to a bigger company and fucking get a payout and retire by the time you're 40 years old, right? So not that that's going to happen for everybody, but smart people surround themselves with good people, work hard. That possibility is there, especially if you're American. Blue collar is definitely the way to go. Go to university, your kids become fucking mental. All they push is fucking feminist, woke ideology, fucking hate America. Oh, so that you have to listen to all these fucking women now in Christian countries who are just fucking mental. They've never had it so good and they still fucking hate everything. No matter what they get, they don't appreciate anything. Kind of like what we're talking about a lot of athletes today. Get everything, don't appreciate fucking nothing. So far, Edwards is dominating. And obviously his opponent's tough. He's giving him some rounds, man. In the third round, Guy's got a cut, but he's tough. Tough South African. A Boer. The new generation of the white rhino. But you can see skill set is not even close. They're on totally different levels. And what this is good for is obviously for Edwards, it tests him to try to set up his punches. Tio and Shakur, a done deal. Is it really a done deal? And then Hitchens and Keyshawn Davis going to be on the undercard. That is a fucking... They stopped the fight already? Come on, ref. That's a soft stoppage, man. You're trying to get this kid rounds and help him fucking develop, and you stop the fight like that. You know, it's good for Edwards. Obviously, now he goes to 5-0 with 5 stoppages. But, you know, this guy wants rounds, right? Real rounds, wants to work and be tested a little bit. And at least this opponent was tough. And Zaire is going to fight Abbas. Yeah, I know that fight, which really makes you fucking, question people that said Zayas ducked Ortiz. Zayas is fighting a unification fight. You're fighting a fucking mandatory guy for somebody else who ducked a world title fight to fight you in Lubin, right? One reason why I wasn't excited about this Ortiz-Lubin fight is primarily because of that. These guys could have been fighting for world titles and they chose to fight each other instead. I mean, Lubin talks all the time about being ducked and not being given opportunities. And when he puts himself in position to get a world title fight, what does he do? He fucking ducks the world title to go fight Virgil Ortiz. Navarrete versus Sugar Nunez is confirmed as well. I saw that today. This morning, listened to Ring IQ. Even if people think Virgil had tough fights with Boholchuk, Madrimov, people gotta ask themselves if they think Lubin could go the distance with Madrimov or Crawford. I don't. I don't dismiss him not being able to go the distance. I think he'd lose to Madrimov, and I think he'd lose to Crawford. But I think he could be a good opponent for both of them. But definitely the pieces are in place for a great 2026. It's very interesting how somebody is extremely unintelligent like Tank can be so sharp and fast thinking in the ring. People who box know that's a match of intelligence as well as physicality. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but a lot of what Tank does is based on muscle memory, not necessarily thinking in the ring, right? He practices and trains to pull counter, to set traps. All that stuff is based on training day to day to day to day, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean he's highly intelligent, but obviously well-trained. Joshua Edwards moving forward. Will he be the next great American heavyweight?
Not much. He was in there with a fighter that wasn't really getting him anything to counter or to look good against. So it's a win, it's a knockout win, and then move on to the next one. But I didn't learn nothing.
Well, we're going to learn something from him right now as Chris Mannix is about to talk to him.
Your fifth knockout. How did you feel about that performance?
I'm going to have it in my hands though, like my opponent was telling me. My opponent was telling me to keep my hands busier. The referee wasn't going to stop the fight. So if I had no more combinations earlier, he would have been out of there by round 2.
He's got a beard like me.
In this fight, you were trying some different things. Maybe stuff you were working on in the gym. You were switching a lot out there. How much were you trying to get some of that work in?
Just a tad bit. I didn't want to keep him around. Of course, I wanted to get him out there. But I just wanted to go some different things out to see if I could make him work on the side.
The referee said that first cut was caused by a headbutt. Did you have any concern that maybe this fight would be stopped?
Not until he stopped it. I don't look at my opponent's face. I'm looking at his shoulders all the time, so I didn't even know he was cutting until he started leaking. But, I feel good. A win is a win.
5-0 in 2025? What do you hope in 2026 looks like?
Just to stay busy, man. They want to move me to 8 rounds, so I'm ready to do it.
Congratulations, Joshua.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I was saying that, Sergio.
You listen to that kid, well spoken, intelligent, right? Media savvy. So that kid has everything he needs to be a star in America. He can have an interview, calm, articulate. He's a guy that represents his culture very well. Kind of like Bruce Carrington. Uh, laugh out, laugh out loud. Style wise, I think Virgil better than Zayas, but you're spot on. Well, I don't know if he's better stylistically. He's a bit more of a plotter than Zayas. Zayas is a better mover and a better boxer, but obviously doesn't have the power that Virgil Ortiz has. But is also naturally, I think, a more natural 154 pounder. Zayas has always been at 154 pounds. What do you think about the New York mayor? Whatever. I mean, I don't think it's that significant. I mean, if this just shows you liberal fucking women and illegal immigrants, right? That's what got that guy in. Because it's like my friend from Vancouver, she's a super communist. She would love the world to be communist. You know, she was hyping up the way China uses electronic, like electronic cars and whatnot. But yet people like her are so naive and so stupid. They think getting rid of fossil fuels is somehow beneficial. No, you have fossil fuels. You might as well use them while you have them. Electric energy is too expensive to fucking create. And you use fossil fuels to create fucking electric energy 90% of the fucking time. Right? Like, you're not creating much fucking electricity from windmills and shit like that. Windmills are fucking terrible for the environment as well. They're ugly eyesores. They fucking are creating the whole whale issues with whales getting caught onto the shores. But people are stupid. They want a communist. It's like, fine. You know, we've had this in America. I'm not American, but dating back to the 20s, where communism was being pushed into America. Reagan, of course, got communists all out of Hollywood during the 50s, right, during the McCarthy era, which is why he became a politician, his push against communism. And this is just the modern day version. People are just too comfortable. And because of that, they're fucking being bought into these kind of stupid shit, like Islam and fucking communism. But yeah, okay, go down that road. See how it fucking suits you in the long run. You having a communist Mandani as a mayor for New York, you think that's going to be good for the city? The city still needs to generate money. You can't give everything away for free. But, you know, people are stupid. What can you do? I think Boholchuk could possibly be a manageable guy for Lubin because Boholchuk is straight ahead. Yeah, I think both Madrimov and Crawford could stop Lubin, just like I believe Virgil is going to. Yeah, I think Madrimov, Crawford. Yeah. Salute. Wayne Evans, what's up? I think Lubin hits harder than Boholchuk and Madrimov, so it'd be interesting to see what happens if he can't catch Ortiz clean. One really good fight Lubin has a win over, who I rate was Guasha. I believe the guy got robbed against Elijah Garcia in 160. Man, he totally got robbed in that fight. When I was watching the fight, I saw Guasha hurt Lubin really badly, and Guasha, I don't believe, hits as hard as Ortiz. No, he's not a hard puncher, right? He's just a really slick, skilled fighter. Can you explain windmills and whales? Apparently, because of the whole air turbulence and vibrations that windmills put out, it fucks with whales' sonar, which is why a lot of them are being beached, right? And it doesn't create energy. We have windmills in Taiwan. It's a fucking waste of money. They're either broken, not working efficiently. They don't create enough electricity, even when they are working, to really be effective. It's ugly on the coast of Taiwan, and you have to pay other countries to build them and fucking maintain them and buy the parts that consistently fucking get worn out. And then you end up having this huge fucking, what do you call it? Something footprint, carbon footprint because of all that shit. So it's not cleaner or better, but you get all these left-wing women that think, Oh, oil is ruining the world, fossil fuels, because they buy into the stupidity, right? They listen to fucking Greta Thunberg, a woman that's fucking basically fucking retarded, and you're taking advice from a retarded fucking Swedish woman. That's the best thing I could say. You should totally take fucking advice from a retarded Swedish woman. I mean, that's where you should get all your advice from. With regarding Palestine and Israel and fucking global warming, retarded fucking Swedish women, they got all the fucking answers. Talk about white fucking you know what do they say? White not white guilt. What's the other one we have? White what? Greta Thunberg's only getting attention because she's a white woman. I meant to insinuate Virgil is more exciting than Xander. Well, he is more exciting for sure. Darkness, long time no see. Hello. One thing I will say, though, is Lubin looked great at the weigh-in. Do you think Virgil might be kind of drained? There you go. Thank you. Yes, white privilege. Yes, Greta Thunberg and all these white liberals with their fucking white privilege telling the world what fucking minorities should think and what everybody else needs to do. They come to Taiwan and say, no more shark fucking fin soup. That's unfair. It's like, why are you in Taiwan? Go back to your country. You got enough shit going on there. You don't need to tell fucking other people and other cultures what they should do. Ortiz has a good jab when he remembers tonight he needs to work behind it. Nope, Lubin doesn't hit as hard as Madrimov. Well, I definitely think Lubin could win by knockout, but I don't think it's likely. I think that Ortiz is going to come out, really establish that jab early, especially going to the body, hooking fucking over the head. And you know, Lubin is not a high volume puncher, so he's going to try to set traps and try to catch Ortiz in between. But if Ortiz can really establish his jab, Lubin's never had a great jab. That's never been really that strong of a forte in his offense. La Raza needs Virgil to win this one. I don't even know what La Raza is. The only time I ever heard that was with relationship to Ryan Garcia. But I'm not Mexican, so that's probably why. Mexican tribalism obviously doesn't affect me. Bohocuk is slow. Lubin is more athletic, even though he's older and a little stiffer than he used to be. So that may increase the chances that Lubin hits Virgil with something he doesn't see. Oh, so La Raza just means Mexican people. The race. Oh, that's kind of racist, eh? Black people got the same thing. What is it? FBA. Everybody wants to fucking be identified. Can't you just be American? You know, when I was younger, I would get so pissed off with Italians because Italians growing up in Toronto, in Canada, they always identify themselves as Italian. It's like, you're fucking Canadian. I'm as Italian as you. I fucking move my hands when I talk. I eat fucking pasta. Hey, mamma mia. I cover my sofa with fucking plastic too. You know, your grandma was Italian. Maybe your dad and mom was Italian. You're fucking Canadian. You can say you're Italian, Canadian, that's fine. But why the necessity to fucking identify yourself to try to make yourself seem superior to someone else? Because that's what it's about. It's a superiority kind of play, right? Oh, I'm Italian, Canadian. Yeah, so what? You're going to fucking go build my house? You're going to go make me a pizza? What? You're like leading into stereotypes when the first thing you need to do is fucking try to differentiate yourself from everybody else. I never say I'm English Canadian. I'm Canadian. Maybe I'm French Canadian. Maybe I'm English Canadian. Maybe I'm fucking Jewish Canadian. Who knows? You don't know what I am. People said I was Chinese my whole life, so maybe I'm Chinese Canadian. What channel is Top Rank card on next week? I think it might be on DAZN. What fight card? Who is it? Who's fighting? Are you slice your garlic with a razor Italian? Definitely not. I would use the fucking garlic press to make my garlic. I don't want to get garlic smell all over my fucking fingers. I didn't see the Pro Box card, but I saw where Tiger Johnson flattened Flas guy. Flas stopped the Santa Maria guy who Jesus Ramos couldn't knock out. Oh, Tiger Johnson looked great yesterday. Really sharp. Really sharp. His jab and his right hand were way too much for Nicholas Flas. Way too much. Flas went in there, and I think game plan wise, he just was not prepared at all because he could not fucking avoid the right hand because he carries his hand pretty low, right? And so the right hand was there all fucking night. Like Tiger Johnson was just nailing him with right hands, literally beating the piss out of him as the fight progressed. It was a great performance by Tiger Johnson. And now Tiger Johnson at 147 is a definite player. I'm going to make a video talking about it, but you're looking at some of the guys that maybe people don't know and aren't familiar with at 147 pounds. Obviously, we know the Devin Haney's and the Mario Barros, and now we're learning about Brian Norman and Stanionis. But outside of that, people don't really know any of the other guys because obviously all the big guys left. But you obviously have Shakram, who is a mandatory, right? Very good Uzbekistanian fighter. You have Liam Paro. People should know him because of his great performance at 140. Obviously now moving up to 147. Rohan Polanco is a guy that really looks like a potential beast of the division, but none of the guys that really have name recognition are talking about him because he's too dangerous with no name. Same to go with Sissoko. Sissoko is Mario Barros' mandatory, but somehow Ryan Garcia is getting a fight, not this kid, right? Because nobody even knows who he is. Then you got Yelenusyov, who was supposed to be the next Lomachenko, retired for a couple of years because he couldn't get big fights, but obviously has come back. And a lot of that's probably similar because of the war. Financially, these guys have needed to come back. Then, of course, one of my favorites, Pat McCormick, who was a silver medal Olympian for Team GB. I think he's being moved kind of slow. Maybe injuries or something have stopped him, but a guy that was really great in the amateurs. Really great. Was he as good as Keyshawn Davis and Cruz? No. But just because you're not as good as them in the amateurs doesn't mean you potentially can't be better as a pro. And then, of course, here we go. Delonte, Tiger Johnson. Not a big power puncher, but yesterday, sharp. He was sharp. He looked like the consummate professional. His jab in his right hand, you could not fucking make anything better. He could not have been better. He could not have been sharper. It was perfect. Perfect. If you haven't seen the fight, go check it out. But those are like some guys, obviously, that aren't getting a lot of name recognition at 147, but all real legitimate guys that deserve opportunities, right? Instead of Manny Pacquiao and fucking Ryan Garcia getting world title fights, I want to see these dudes get fights to see if they really are that next level or if not, right? Obviously, at this point, we don't know how great they are, but we definitely want to see. We want to learn. And that's the problem with a lot of these casual boxing fans. You know, they will dick ride fighters tribalistically, and then they will criticize a lot of these guys because they don't know who they are because they don't get opportunities. The reason they don't get opportunities in a lot of cases is because they're too fucking dangerous and they don't generate enough money. They don't have big enough fan bases in America, but they still deserve an opportunity. Did you watch wrestling? Eddie Guerrero? I did. Jamaicans too. What about Jamaicans? Sean, is Tiger a major player at 147? I think so. I think so. I definitely think he's got the skill set to fucking really be a player at 147. Alicia Baumgardner, I'd fuck her. Would he beat the current world champions? I would give him a shot versus all the champions. I don't know if he'd win because obviously the level of competition is different. But here's another great young up-and-coming American, Amari Jones. But that dude needs to cut off that rat tail because that is just the worst stylistic fucking look ever. Like, there's nothing good about having a rat tail. not when Stephen Fulton had it, not when anyone had it. It's like, you think that looks good? Do chicks like dig that shit? It just looks poor. And uncreative. Like you have no creative fucking concept, so you just got some stupid bullshit in your hair. Kavalaskis knocked the guy out of the ring. Yeah, Cisco guy fought Kavalaskis and should have lost, from what I heard anyway. Oh, is that the last fight you're talking about? Well, but if he's fighting Kavalaskis, that tells you everything you need to know about skill level. Kavalaskis is good, man. I had a rat tail in the early 90s. Rat tail, 90s. For white guys, for black guys, I don't know if the rat tail was ever fucking a style fucking thing. Yeah, okay. His last fight in May 25th, he fought Kavalaskis. Prior to that, he fought Lucera. Prior to that, he fought Mbenge. Good opponents, solid. Ismail Ilyaf, Kieran Conway, Dmitry Melnichenko. He's been in with good opponents. So he definitely deserves his world title opportunity. Carball had a rat tail. He did, and it looked shit too. But yeah, that definitely was the 90s. This guy that he's fighting kind of looks like Arthur Abraham. Too bad he doesn't fight like Arthur Abraham. He need to put up his double fucking high guard and walk this guy down. Maybe he'd be more effective. But look at the size difference between them. Amari Jones looks really big compared to the opponent. See, as good as Amari Jones is looking now against his opponent, he does not look nearly as fucking sharp as fucking Tiger Johnson looked yesterday. Tiger Johnson looked, you got to go watch it because his performance was definitely a thing of beauty. Definitely something that deserves him a lot of credit because he took fucking that guy apart. And that guy he fought is good. And obviously, he's a pro box fighter, was getting a ton of press and a ton of praise from the pro box, and a guy that people were talking about as a potential world champion. But, woo, was he schooled? Yes, we know. But that's just because BFTB is fucking mentally slow and a midget. So he got to make fun of other people to make himself feel better. In the 90s, I didn't have good hairstyle. Mullets were also a thing. Oh my God. I'm glad I fucking came from urban Toronto where there's no chance I ever would have fucking wore a mullet. Kids wear mullets today for some reason. Yeah, it's become more of a style, especially if you're Australian. So let me get this straight. If Gary Antoine Russell Hiroka fight's still on, oh yeah. What card was that supposed to be on? Was that supposed to be on the PBC card? Or what fight card was that supposed to be on? Because it's true, I haven't seen anything about it recently. It's not listed on BoxRec. Not that that means so much. BoxRec often is terrible for doing those kind of things, but a lot of people thought Kavalaskis beat that guy, though. That was supposed to be on the Paul versus Tank Circus. Ah, okay, so it's probably being delayed until the next date, right? That's true. That was the one fight that I was keen to tune in and watch. Like if you were to rate top young up and coming American fighters, I definitely think Amari Jones is behind Joshua Edwards, who we saw fight earlier, and definitely behind Delonte Tiger Johnson. As far as, you know, where he is right now and but his potential to be a superstar in the future. Calm down. The rat tail protected him. He should wrap that around his neck to protect his neck. Is that supposed to be his? I'm a bit of a dread, but I mean a bit of a Rastafari, but I'm a boxer, so I don't want to have that long hair in my face. So I just have it in the back. Rastafari. I wanted dreadlocks when I was in high school. Never a fucking mullet. I went to this concert and there was this Jewish guy from Toronto. Man, his dreads were fucking too good, too manicured, too neat, but they look good. I kind of wonder if Norman is the toughest guy. Haney could have fought at 147. On paper, he obviously is. Yeah, the problem is we don't know a lot of the under guys, right? A lot of those dudes that are unknown. And for Haney, there would be no necessity to fight any of them because what would be the point? Like he literally ducked a Sandor Martin title defense because he wasn't getting paid enough money to fight Sandor Martin. But at least Sandor Martin's a known guy. Sandor Martin beat Mikey Garcia and basically sent him into retirement. Sean, what's up with Murtazaliev? When's he getting back in the ring? He's going to be fighting the English guy that was part of GB's national team that got knocked out by the tough Armenian welterweight that Crawford fought before Spence. That fight's going to be part of Matchroom, so it's already signed, sealed, and delivered. So that's going to be Murtazaliev's next fight because they want Murtazaliev to be there for a potential Boots Ennis fight. If Boots can't get a world title fight with somebody else, then they're going to have the IBF way to go. Sean, is Taiwan a Christian country? No. It's Asian, right? So obviously we have Christians in Taiwan, a lot, but far more Christians than Muslims, that's for sure. But it's mostly Buddhist country. I had a tail. It was for breakdancing kind of thing. Oh, the breakdance era. I do remember. Yeah, some people did have tails back in the day. My grade 9, fucking grade 10 era. I went to high school and a bunch of guys in my PE class, we used to breakdance during PE on the mats. And then these guys went on to become like this troupe of 5 dudes that started doing like Sprite commercials all over Canada. They got quite a bit of fame for a small period of time. So now that Tank Davis and Jake Paul is off, I would imagine the fight is off or postponed. Yeah, postponed, right? Because I think the date for Jake Paul's next fight is already on the schedule. I think they just moved it to December, if I'm not mistaken. So from November to December, even though it would have probably been better to move it to January. But for Jake, it might be unfair. But it's curious who his opponent's going to be. Yeah. Well, that's when you used to wear fucking shell toes with fat laces, Kango hats, my Adidas. So now that Tank Davis and Jake Paul is off, I would imagine, man, what's up with my guy De Los Santos? That dude should never have walked away from fucking that fight with Keyshawn Davis. New Yorkistan. Yeah. New Yorkistan. Oh, well, those people will find out quick, right? They'll find out quick what they've gotten themselves into. This girl was breaking it down and saying that most of the money that America gets, or New York gets, is from the millionaires and billionaires. Like they earn like $1.5 billion a year through taxes, and the majority of that comes from the upper 1%, the billionaires and the millionaires. Now he wants to tax those guys an extra 2% so that he can give free stuff to everybody else. But what's going to happen, as she was saying, is a lot of these billionaires are just going to move into a different state. They're billionaires. They can still have a house in New York, but they don't need to have their businesses and their main portfolio situated there. So they can relocate to a tax-friendly state, right? And a lot of them will do that. And a lot of the millionaires also potentially will move as well. And so they talked about how much money they were potentially going to lose because they're not going to be able to tax these guys even at the normal rate that they once did, which means now who's going to be paying? The middle class. So the middle class is going to be getting taxed more in state taxes in New York, right? But then I'm sure my friends that live in New York, right, because they're kind of that same liberal fucking left-wing women sort of group, I'm sure they're fucking totally pro Maldami. I didn't talk to her, but I should send her a message to see. But, you know, they're totally the kind of people that would be like totally gung-ho. He's down. But yet, you know, they're going to be paying higher fucking state taxes because of it. To be fair, Amara, you got the victory, but I wouldn't say it was a great performance. Especially to do all that clowning. Entitled, right? His next payday, he's going to think he deserves $1 million fucking dollars. Sean, Wemby is the truth. Well, he's slowing down a bit, right? Blue Blood claiming Paul versus Joshua next, but he is one of the biggest clickbait channels around. He's totally clickbait. What do you make of Barrios versus Ryan? Well, obviously, I don't think Ryan deserves a world title fight, but I understand why PBC fucking recycling names to do pay-per-view. This is what the fucking PBC do. If you got a problem with this fight, don't blame it on Ryan Garcia or fucking non-black, non-melanated fucking boxing fans. It has everything to do with the PBC. This is what the PBC does. This is consistently what they do. They fucking recycle names to fucking charge you $80 on pay-per-view. They just made you fucking pay for Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barros. Now they're going to make you pay for Ryan Garcia and Mario Barros, right? But then blame somebody else because it's a race thing. It's nothing to do with race. It's a fucking black guy who's fucking doing it. So what's the racial fucking connotation? If it was Eddie Hearn or Bob Arum, they would specifically be pointed out doing it and it'd be their fault. But because it's Al Heyman, people blame white boxing fans as if we asked for Mario Barros versus Ryan Garcia. Nobody asked for that fucking fight. But let's be deep thinkers because I understand guys like John Boxing, that's something they can't do. In the long run, for a guy like John Boxing, a Ryan Garcia, Mario Barros situation is the best thing that can happen in boxing. The best, the very best. Let me explain why. So if Ryan Garcia beats Mario Barros, she becomes the WBC champion. Right now we have Devin Haney fighting Brian Norman to become a WBO champion. Obviously, Devin Haney wants that money and he needs opponents, right? And so if Ryan Garcia becomes a world champion, now Devin Haney can fight Ryan Garcia, and it's far more significant than it ever has been before, the first time or the second time. Now it's a legitimate unification fight, right? Which Turki Al-Sheikh probably will pay for. And both those guys will get more money than they deserve. For Devin Haney, people go, look, he defended unified titles. And then you can use Ryan Garcia as a legitimate opponent now because he's a world champion. He's a world champion, right? So now they could justify and utilize that to hype up Devin Haney even more. So for Devin Haney fans, Ryan Garcia getting a Mario Barros fight is perfect. Perfect. Because think about who's Devin Haney going to fight after Brian Norman, if he beats Brian Norman. He's going to fight Mario Barros. He's going to fight the English guy that's the champion. I don't even know his name. I know John talked about him going up to 154 and taking on Boots, but be fucking honest. That ain't going to happen. Ryan Garcia is a bigger money fight than a Boots fight, as crazy as that sounds. And if Ryan has a title, that fight now becomes a realistic perspective, something realistically, viable. So those guys should totally be gung-ho for Ryan Garcia getting a world title fight. The rest of us will call it as it is. Pure bullshit. Why does this guy and why does Manny and why does Errol Spence and why does Keith Thurman, why did these guys get world title fights? PBC fucking recycling fucking names to charge us pay-per-view. Lewis Crocker, that's him, sorry about the noise. Yeah, Lewis Crocker. Barrios versus Garcia will sell. Yeah, it will sell. They can make money, so it makes sense. If it makes money, it makes sense. Even though, yeah, it's bullshit. For sure it's bullshit. You will never hear me justify that fight and say it's legitimate and something that should happen. No, it's bullshit. The same way I said Pacquiao and fucking Barrios was bullshit. The same way I said Pacquiao versus fucking Rolly Romero was bullshit. I love Pacquiao. And I'd love to see Pacquiao beat either one of those guys. But it's still bullshit. It's not a fucking legitimate fight. It shouldn't fucking happen. Manny doesn't deserve the opportunities. They're just using Manny to fucking charge us fucking money for pay-per-view. And people going to justify it and fucking say it's okay. And let me hear this kid. Who's he calling out?
These moments will make you stumble over your words.
I would call him the quiet storm, because yes, he is a little timid, a little quiet, but inside the ring, man, he's dangerous.
Let's jump into the highlights and Alicia, take us through it. Amari Jones, still perfect in the jump career.
Yes, listen, Jones is happy to be in there, going into a debut, the beautiful southpaw stance, body shot. Right there on the temple, those shots they'll drop you instantly.
Yeah, if you keep dipping to that same side, I thought he was going to chop down after that. And that's going to actually work against the other fighter because you can't really roll those shots. Your head's in one place, you're punching down, it just makes it worse. So there's more to hide from that right hand of Amari Jones. Jones did what he had to do, a chop down, knockout, on to the next one.
Thurman versus Garcia would have worked. Hey, Sean. How you doing, man? Good, Brian. All good. It's fight night, so, exciting. Even though, come on, Jones just beat a fucking Swedish guy that nobody had heard of. Let's not hype this up as if it's something too significant. Are you going to schedule Funduro and Thurman again? I don't know if they'll do that. I think the people may have spoken, and they may go in a different direction. Potentially Virgil Ortiz fight, right? If you fight Virgil Ortiz now, after beating Lubin, that fight makes sense. It's dangerous, of course, but, you can't always expect people to pay for fucking cherry pick fights. Eventually, you're going to have to fight somebody legitimate. And I think, to be fair, Funduro thinks he's good enough to actually beat Ortiz. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I heard that Funduro is no longer affiliated with that Mexican manager of his, that he walked away from him. I think so. Was I wrong? Or was it Benavidez has walked away from him? Wemby destroyed the Pels right now. Oh, is destroying the Pels. Yeah, that's true. I'm watching for the main event. I like Ortiz tonight. Oh, yeah, me too. Not to downplay and hate on Lubin. I think Lubin is a solid opponent. I mean, when you think about Ortiz beating Boholchuk, Madrimov, and now Lubin, that's 3 legitimate top 10 fighters, right? That's all you expect people to do is take on that kind of caliber of opponents. All good, my man. All good. But what was I looking at? Boxer kicked my ass out again because they are fucking stupid like that. So, Amari Jones, let's look at his opponent. So 14-0, 12 knockouts. I know he's got 12 knockouts, but watching him today, he doesn't really look like a power puncher. 23 years old, 6 foot tall. He just fought a guy that was 14-2. Like, when you look at his resume so far, it's not really that impressive. The guy who fought today was this dude, 14-2, 9 KOs. A guy who his last opponent, he fought twice in a row. Lost to him once, beat him in the rematch. The guy was 6-4-0, beat him. Then he beat him when the guy was 8-4-0. Prior to that, he fought his biggest opponent, Steve Rolls, who, of course, 21-2, ex-Golovkin opponent, and Steve Rolls beat him, right? So that's the biggest and best opponent of his career. So it's no surprise he lost today against Amari Jones. He's an opponent, right? Not a guy that was really supposed to test Amari Jones and be legitimate. 100%, that's a good 3-fight run at 154. Yeah. But at this point, now you got to take on either Boots. Hey, look at fucking Ade on the subway. Sorry, in English, it's not the subway. What is it? I know it. What's the name of the subway system in fucking London? The Tube? Is it the Tube? But definitely he needs to be fighting Funduro for a world title or Xander Zayas for 2 titles or Boots Ennis for name recognition. Like, obviously, Boots has no title on the line, and I can understand both teams preferring that both of those guys win world titles, right? You know, obviously, Boots could fight Murtazaliev to become an IBF champion. Virgil can fight Funduro to become a WBC champion, and then you can have them fight for unification. And then obviously you just have one more fight with Xander Zayas for undisputed, right? That's the no-brainer direction that everybody should be pushing, right? Boots versus fucking Murtazaliev and Virgil versus fucking Funduro. Funduro and Virgil, that will probably do as much numbers in America as Boots and Virgil. More or less, right? Because obviously Funduro is a well-established fighter. He's been in some big fights with some name recognition. So speak of Boots, here he is. Boots looks so small compared to those guys.
On social media said you weren't going to be here, but you're here tonight. I'm letting everybody know this is my guy on next, So,
look at the bling.
Robert Garcia has said this week. Robert Garcia has been telling people that you
Too much bling.
Want to fight Virgil Ortiz next. That you actually want one more fight in between before you face Virgil. Not the Virgil fight, if he wins tonight. Is that the fight you want next? I don't know where he get that stuff from and said I need another fight. I don't want to fight. He the same guy that said 2 weeks ago, I want to come down here, build the fight up. Come down here. We come here on our own. They didn't invite us in. We came down on our own, so we showed us. We showing y'all that we really want to fight. That's right. We don't see you often at all, I guess.
At all.
Of your perspective, I actually heard you change your flight to move it up because you didn't know because of all the stuff going on with the airline. Yeah, all the stuff that was going on, the government stuff going on. So I wanted to make sure I was here to let everybody know that I'm serious about this fight. And, like I said, we tell me the best fights happen. I'm really going to show the world I'm the best in the world. But why is this fight particularly so important to you? I feel like now you got so much hype behind it, way more than 6 years ago, 6 months ago. And I feel like I moved up at the right time, and I feel like it's gonna make a killer fight. Everybody's gonna want to see it. A lot of people did it today and was like, I want to come here to see you. Like, I put a lot of hype behind this fight as well too. So I got best thing, so I'm excited to make things happen. All right, Eddie. The 3 words I've heard you use the most in the last 6 months is "we have signed." You've said we have signed to fight Virgil Ortiz. Take us behind the scenes, though. There's been some confusion about whether Team Ortiz and Golden Boy really want this fight. What are the conversations been like about making this happen?
We had a very positive conversation in the zone office about 6 months ago. So we agreed we would fight in October, they would fight in November, and we would make the fight straight after. We agreed the terms of the fight. We took that to Boots in a contract, he signed. We haven't heard much back from them. But Eric Gomez did call me just before Boots' fight and said, look, we do want the fight, and as soon as we get through Lubin, because it's a tough fight tonight. We get through, we want to make it happen. Do we believe them? We're going to find out real soon. But the point of today was, and you're right, this guy got on the plane at 4 o'clock this morning. He didn't want to miss it. He wants this fight. No in-between fights. No, we had that. He had his little fight at 154, looked $1 million. He will fight anybody. But there are people out there that believe that Virgil Ortiz may be the best 154-pounder in the world. We strongly disagree. We don't just think that this guy's the best 154-pounder in the world. We think he's the future pound-for-pound number one in the sport. We think he beats anybody at 54, 60, and 68. So let's give the American fight fans and the zone viewers the best fights in the sport. No excuses. Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy, the Zone, Virgil Ortiz, Robert Garcia, great people, great trainers, great promoters, Jerron Ennis, his father, Bosley, us, the Zone. It's the perfect matchup. Two guys in their prime. Let's not marinate it. Let's make it happen. So we hope he comes through tonight, and then let's just do it. And everybody can see that this guy right here is the absolute future of the sport.
Actually, do you agree with all that? All hands and nothing but facts. I'm going to show the world I'm the best in the world. And these guys can't tie my shoes.
All right, so
These guys can't tie my shoes.
Person's got a tough test in front of an Eric Lubin. I know you've known
Welcome back, Raph.
for a long time. You're about the same age. You've known each other on the East Coast. What kind of fight are you expecting from that? How are you seeing this fight play out?
Like I said first, I feel like when you fight, it's a great fight. Lubin's a very crafty fighter. He's been around the block. It's gonna be a great fight. We're two pretty fresh and things like that. Hopefully, Ortiz come on top. But get the best man win. I'm here to fight the winner, basically. So, our eyes is on Ortiz. That's who we want. But if I'm gonna win, I'm ready to get this boat rolling. I'm gonna show the world the best at 154. These guys can't do that with me. And I'm about to shut everybody up.
All right, you're ready to get it rolling. They're ready to get.
It's good that Boots is there making a push, because the problem with Boots and guys like Bud Crawford, right? So quiet, they stay fucking to themselves, and because of that, they're not all over social media giving people all this kind of clickbait to sort of push forward. We saw recently that Andre Ward and Roy Jones went in on him, specifically Andre Ward. Andre Ward was hating on him, talking about his level of opposition, whereas Roy Jones was a little more in his corner, understanding how situations unfolded. I think it's ironic that Andre Ward is criticizing him, because how old was Andre Ward before he really fought anybody legitimate, right? He was also a guy that hadn't really done shit until he became part of the Super 6 tournament. And when he went in there, nobody even knew who he really was. He wasn't like a well-known fighter, even though he was given sort of the red carpet fucking treatment by the promoters. What was Ramos thinking when he moved to 160? Get in there early, get a title, so eventually fucking you got yourself cemented for big fights down the road. Maybe. Do people believe Boots would beat Iglesias? Look at you. Calm down, David. Andre Ward has no room to talk. When they're saying 168, they're talking about Bud Crawford. What's up, my man? But overall, as I said, truth be told, I would prefer if Boots Ennis fought Mirzaliev to become an IBF champion, and Virgil Ortiz fought Funduro to become the WBC champion. Both those fights, fucking legit. Too legit to quit. Those fights are super fucking legit. And then they could fight each other for unification, maybe October of 2026. So that's one fight in the spring, then a fight between them in what would be a super fight at that point. But I understand at the same time, they sort of want to make sure they jump in and make the money now, because it's with Turkey Al-Sheikh, I think. So there's money on the table, and fighting fighters like Funduro and Mirzaliev are dangerous. So you could lose, and it could be a whole fucking AJ Deontay Wilder situation where the fight ends up getting fucked over because you end up getting beat in the build-up, right? So that's some truth there. It's legitimate. That's something that really could happen. But nonetheless, I mean, I would prefer that they win titles and then have a unification fight. Then the winner could take on Xander Zayas for undisputed, which means for all of them, it's 3 fights away from undisputed. World title fight, super unification fight, and then undisputed fight. So by early 2000, maybe even the end of 2026, we could have one undisputed champion at 154 pounds. And if that's Boots Ennis, Boots would catapult fucking probably into the top 5 of the pound for pound list. Ward is just a bitter man. That's true. Bro, I seen Boots fans saying he beats Canelo. Well, stylistically, if he fought the way Crawford fought, I see that he could beat Canelo. This version of Canelo. Canelo's older. Andre Ward, and Boots is, unlike Bud Crawford, a bigger dude, right? Andre Ward ducked 2 Canadian southpaws at 168, 175 for undisputed. Facts. He ducked Boutte and Stevenson for fucking undisputed. He could have been the first guy to be 2-belt undisputed. The only thing that stopped him was him, his ego. Ennis can win at this juncture. Too legit to quit. You're showing your age, Sean. Yes, I am. They not guaranteed to get past Funduro Bakram. Yeah, and I understand that. I think the PBC will just hold Funduro's title hostage. Doubt he could follow the game plan and take Canelo's power. Maybe. Obviously, the one thing that definitely benefited Bud Crawford was his ability to fucking stay on script. I think this is the co-main event, but that means one fight we missed. Because I thought there was another fight on this card. Oh, come on, BoxRec. Stop fucking around. Fulgrim. No, okay. I guess the other fights were all low-level fights. So, yeah, Fulgrim, Stevenson, and then Ortiz and Lubin. Ward refused to go to Canada even though they sell more than him. Yeah, because of his ego, right? Egomaniac. Ruined his career. Also refused to go to the UK for the rematch with Carl Froch, even though Carl Froch had fucking then went on to sell 70,000 tickets against Groves. It would have been a huge money fight for Andre Ward to go fight in the O2 or maybe Wembley, right? And that's where he would have really got paid. Fucking taking a risk by getting outside of your backyard to fucking make money. But he made those choices. Only him. Kid Austin pulled out again. Lawrence Cole was terrible. Did you see the fight earlier? He almost fucked that fight up too. With his point fucking for a headbutt and then threatening to take points for low blows. End up fucking getting the guy almost fucking knocked out because he made him go to the corner to change his mouthpiece and then called time when the guy hadn't even turned around yet and been set. So the other guy was coming at him when his back was still facing his fucking corner. Like, the guy's a fucking clown. And this is the reason why fucking Lomachenko had a loss in his first 2 fights because of Lawrence Cole. Fucking a clown. A local bingo hall sells more than Ward. That's a fact. You look at the numbers for fucking Ward Kovalev. Abysmal. Abysmal. And Kovalev got fucked over, right, in those situations. Not just getting robbed in the first fight, but also financially. Fulgrim, this kid, overrated. His last performance where I saw him fight, man, disappointing. For a guy that was really getting hyped up, it was a very disappointing performance. Losing to fucking Bakram Murtazaliev, who's beatable, right? He's like a short-armed dude with not much range who relies on heavy power shots. A guy like this, if he would have established his jab, should have made easy work of that fight. My local hot dog stand sells more than Ward. Hey, David Stevens is a local boy to me, Reading, Pennsylvania. Ward was doing church discounts to get tickets in Oakland. The Stevenson kid, 15-2. Lost to Murtazaliev as well, and lost to Joshua Jones. So they are pretty much on a similar level. So it should be a great opponent, a great matchup. Let's get it on. Fulgrim, Stevenson. Maybe this is the fight of the night. Let's see. I've never seen Stevenson fight, so I'm unfamiliar with him. But, you know, I kind of hope he wins. I'd like to see him beat Fulgrim because I just, you know, with the hype that was around Fulgrim, I was very disappointed with his Murtazaliev performance. I thought that was very fucking. You want to become a superstar and you're losing to a guy that got knocked out by Gabe Rosado. And I think Stevenson, his fight with Murtazaliev was fucking more competitive. He lost by split decision. Fulgrim lost by unanimous decision. Murtazaliev was deducted a point for holding. Fulgrim was down in round 12. So it was a much more dominant performance from Murtazaliev versus that guy. Laugh out loud, you picked him to beat Beck the Bully. Well, I didn't specifically pick him to beat Beck the Bully. I think I talked about how it was a great matchup for a young fighter who's really being hyped as a potential superstar. Like, nobody really now thinks that Beck the Bully is a top 10, 168-pound fighter. So if you're losing to a guy that's not a top 10, 168-pound fighter, then how fucking good are you? I'm rooting for Stevens just for the fact he lives like half an hour from me. Look at you, tribalistic. Oh, God, no, it's Cole going to ref the main event. No, if he's reffing this fight, then he's probably not going to be reffing the main event. Hey, Sean, isn't that the same Hearns that told everybody he was going to bet his house on AJ beating the monster? AJ beating the monster? What does that mean? No, of course, Eddie Hearn is hyping up Ennis because that's what you're supposed to do when you're a promoter. Promote, right? Look at Don King. You know, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to be a mouthpiece for your fighter, right? Fighters are not necessarily the most articulate and most intelligent fucking media trained people out there. So you want your promoter to be out there pushing you, hyping you up, right? Yet it's ironic when the PBC's hyping up all their fighters that all fucking proved that they were mediocre and all got exposed. People loved it, even though you never heard Hal Heyman say one word to benefit anyone. But when Lomachenko is getting hyped up by Bob Arum, oh, it's, terrible. Oh, my God. Junto or Inui being hyped up. Oh, Golovkin being hyped up. Oh, my God. Look at this hype. Oh, my God. But yet Adrian Broner is being hyped as the next fucking Floyd Mayweather. Now they're talking about Devin Haney being the next Floyd Mayweather. It's like, talk about fucking hype. Calm down. Murtazaliev. What are you talking about? What? Wait, he doesn't have the same skin color as me. Can I root for Stevens? Well, it's questionable. He lives in your neighborhood. So then I think as far as local tribalistic stuff, yes, you did mean MJ, yeah. Then I guess it makes sense. Sean, you watch the NFL? Not anymore. I pay attention a little bit on the outskirts, but since Tom Brady retired, I haven't paid too much attention to the sport. Living in Taiwan, right? It's not really televised here, and so it wasn't something that was really something I followed too much once I moved to Taiwan. Even hockey, I kind of stopped paying attention. I did like some pools and stuff with friends, but eventually, you're outside of Canada, so you're not that familiar with a lot of the lower level players because you're just not focused. So even baseball, I don't pay too much attention to now. Mostly NBA and boxing and English Premier League football. That's it. My 3 YouTube channels. So check them out. Sean on Ball, Sean on Liverpool, And Sean on boxing. Baseball big in Taiwan. Baseball is Taiwan's national sport. I don't think I have a 500 NT dollar here, but let me check. No, I only have thousands. It's worth $30. So $90, I'm loaded. But the $500 bill has the Taiwan kids team. You know, what's that called? The kids that play baseball. There's the big tournament that happens in America. But Taiwan won that and was real players back in the day. So that team is on the $500 bill. And of course, we had the great baseball player from New York, the pitcher, Wang Jae-ming. So far, this fight shows you why these guys lost to Bek Milakuziev. Neither of them looks really that good. Once again, go watch Tiger Johnson in his performance on Pro Box. You can watch the whole card free on YouTube. And you will see a guy that looks good, sharp. These guys, yeah, they're not on that level. Like you look at Fulgrim, his jab is really terrible. You just paw out that jab, no snap to it, not really trying to land it with any authority, just to try to set up your right hand. But yeah, what do you guys think so far of this fight? Who's winning? Fulgrim? Martin? Oh, Martin's got a good trainer. Ronnie Shields. Oh. Get in there, Ronnie. Sean, where are you from in Canada? I'm from Toronto, but I lived in Vancouver for the last 10 years before I moved to Asia. Fans ready to put Tiger Johnson in the Hall of Fame after one flawless performance. Well, that's probably being over the top as well. But what I said is he's a real player at 147. And I think he potentially is a test for all the world champions at that weight division. But like I showed you earlier, there's a bunch of guys in the division now who aren't getting much attention but deserve attention, right? Obviously, Tiger Johnson, very sharp, looked great yesterday. Pat McCormick, my personal favorite. Is it tribalism? Maybe it is. So, is that a problem? Yelenusyov, the next Lomachenko. Sissoko, the guy that fucking Barrios is ducking. Polanco, who's a real fucking player. And of course, Liam Paro, we know what he did at 140. And of course, Gisyov, who currently is in mandatory position as well. I used to be a Little League World Series all the time, but haven't been there for like 5 years. Yeah, that's it. The Little League World Series. Taiwan's team was right up there back in the day. Not so much recently, but back in the day. Sean, why did Memphis get the Grizzlies from Vancouver? Because the fix was in. You know how sometimes owners, they want to have a team in their city, but they can't. So the NBA says, these are the locations. So then they agree to be an owner in a city that they're not from, or they buy a team from a city, right, that has a team, like Vancouver. But their whole plan is to eventually move the team out. So then they manage the team terribly. They get draft picks that are just fucking abysmal. They make bad decisions. And, you know, basically you basically force the team out of the city so you could bring it back to Memphis. And that was the problem. Once that owner took over, we knew that it was inevitable that he was going to fucking drag the team out. The biggest question is, how did the Seattle Seahawks or Seattle Supersonics get pulled out of Seattle? Seattle was a fucking world champion, NBA title team. And a team that was a perennial team people love to watch, right? with fucking Peyton and Sean Kemp, Detlef Schrempf. That team was great, but they ended up losing their team. That's more of the mind bend there. But to be fair, Vancouver, Portland, and fucking Seattle, they should lose all their teams because they're fucked up states that are full of woke fucking mental cases. None of them deserve sports teams because they're all fucking woke bitches that probably never played sports in their life. Used to teach English in Thailand. Is that what you are doing? Taiwan, yeah. So you taught in Thailand. Nice. In Bangkok or somewhere different? Seattle deserves an NBA team, but because of that public, they'd rather fucking scissor and fucking do drugs in the streets, fucking, hotlining, fucking mainlining fucking drugs right fucking in front of kids, dress and drag, fucking be a bunch of fucking woke degenerates. So I don't know if they deserve any sports team. I'd take the Mariners out, take the football team out, the Seahawks, Portland Trail Blazers. The only reason there is because the owner is a fucking billionaire. Oh, okay. Nice. I heard that's a great city, right? Normal. You're avoiding all like the red light, dirty sort of side of Thailand. It's a lot more just normal people, a lot of golf courses. So if you want to go on a golf vacation, Hua Hin is supposed to be the place to go. Taiwan follow MLB? Of course. Wang Jianming was a Yankee, right? The Yankees were fucking Taiwan's favorite team. New Orleans Pelicans don't deserve a team. That's true. Amen, Sean. Those arenas are trash dumps. Yeah. Swap New Orleans and Memphis for Seattle and Vegas. Well, Vegas deserves a team, even though they don't have a real population. Bring the team back to fucking Canada. Maybe go to Calgary, where you have like legitimate Canadians that fucking work and make money and are sports focused, and you could put a team there. I'd say Quebec, but I don't know if Quebec people would get behind a basketball team. They ended up losing the Nordiques, and they're a fucking consummate hockey fucking province. They had Montreal and the Nordiques. How did they lose the Nordiques? It's fucking Quebec. They could easily have two fucking hockey teams, but they end up losing them to fucking Colorado. That's a mind bender, but So it's round 4, and at this point, this is exactly what we figured. A tough fight between two guys that, are mediocre with limited upside. Neither one of these guys is a world champion. Ever. As we said earlier, Pacheco, Iglesias, Mimbili, Lester Martinez, he would fucking destroy those guys would destroy these dudes. Berlanga would beat these guys. That tells you everything you need to know. Darius full of cum. He's just overrated in a hype job, even though I do like his shorts. Canada, Sean, can you explain the territories in Canada? Well, they can't become provinces because there's just not enough population. So they become territories just so they could milk them for natural resources and still claim that land, right? Even though it's barren land with no people. But you don't want to give it up because of oil and natural materials. So it just becomes a territory. You can't really tax people the same as a province. So, yeah. If you are a soccer fan, what do you think about the World Cup in North America? Well, I don't really, I don't really get it. Canadians and fucking Americans, they're not big soccer fans, football fans. So I don't really see it being a place that really makes a lot of sense. But To be fair, they know they're big financial hubs, especially the States. So they're doing it mostly because of that. And Trump loves sports, so Trump is going to be all behind it. He's hyped, bringing the Olympics back to LA. Obviously, 1984 Olympics team was the best U.S. Olympic team in the history of fucking the Olympics. So maybe they're hoping to have a resurgence in amateur sports in America. One of the worst fights I've seen in a while. Again, Sean, we're both showing our age in knowing the Nordiques is a hockey team. If you don't know the Nordiques, then, you're not a hockey fan. That team also had great players. Fucking Sakic and fucking Forsberg. How do you lose a team like that to fucking Colorado? There's a bunch of shit teams in the league, and the Nordiques weren't one of them. They literally fucking were potential Stanley Cup winners. And then they moved to Colorado and, of course, win Stanley Cups. Talk about fucking anti-Canadian, right? The fact that America and the people involved allowed that to happen. That's why in Canada, we're begging and praying that a Canadian team will win a fucking Stanley Cup. When was the last time Canada won a Stanley Cup? Montreal Canadiens. 1992. I don't remember the year exactly, but yeah. And we thought we were going to do it the last couple of years, but fuck, man. Wayne Gretzky, it's all his fucking fault. When he went to the LA, what's LA's team? Los Angeles, Kings. Sold out Canada to fucking market it towards Americans. And now fucking Florida has, 2 fucking NHL teams. Terrible. Terrible. Round 5. Both guys are trying, but nobody shows anything of interest. When we look at the current 168-pound rankings, it's a deep division. These guys, yeah. They are insignificant. And to be fair, I think Golden Boy is pretty insignificant at 168 as well. Who does Golden Boy have at 168? So who? Crawford, Canelo, Shiraz, Charlo. I don't even know why he's ranked. Has he actually fought anyone? Iglesias, Mbili, Munguia, Pacheco, Saggio, Pavel Siligan, Lester Martinez, Callum Smith, Jacob Bank, don't know him, Luka Planic. I've seen their names but never seen them fight. Beck Nuremberg, Simon, fucking German guy, don't know his name. Berlanga down at 17, William Skull down at 18. That's probably unfair. William Skull lost to Canelo, but he did not get destroyed. Beck Melikuzi at 19, Nikita Zon at 20, Derevchenko 21, Corzo, some Argentinian guy, Canadian guy 23, Jose Amando Resendez. Shouldn't he be higher after beating Caleb Plant? Oliver Zaran, some South African guy, Caleb Plant 27, Vincent Fagan Butz, Steve Butler, another Canadian, and Darius Fulgrim at number 30. Even though underneath of him is Herbert Kansakau Sousa, a Brazilian fighter. That guy should totally be ahead of Darius Fulgrim. I guarantee you that guy would fucking beat the shit out of Darius Fulgrim. 9-0, 5 KOs, Olympic gold medalist. Cuban, Brazilian. He would fucking beat the crap. Look at his best win already. He just beat fellow Brazilian Yamaguchi Falco. And then he beat his brother, Esquives Falco, who was a world title contender. You beat those 2 Falcos as an Argentinian inside your first Brazilian, inside your first 9 fights? Oh my God. You just fucking crowned yourself the best fighter in Brazil, right? Gold medal winner. You beat the 2 Falco brothers, one of who was a gold medal winner in the Olympics and a world title contender, you do that in your first 9 fights, man, you would fucking demolish these kids. Demolish them. He should not be ranked so low. I was a Montreal Canadiens fan when Kovalev played for them. Trump just banned 19 countries and their fans from entering the U.S. and wants all of their fans to put up 15K bonds per person. That's definitely not great for the World Cup, but to be fair, the 19 countries that he banned, probably none of them have a fucking team in the World Cup, right? Probably none of them. Maybe a couple African teams, but outside of that, like Nigeria, probably banned them because they're killing Christians. Ghana, I don't know if he would have banned them, but I could see he banned Nigeria, and they probably might have a team in the World Cup, maybe. They always have a very good African Nations Cup sort of run. Florida got 2 NHL teams. Didn't know that, and I live here. What do you mean? You got Florida Panthers, and don't you have another one as well? Come on. Am I wrong? How many NHL hockey teams does Florida have? I could be wrong. Yes, the Stansky brothers. Or however you'd pronounce it. Yeah, man, come on. What are you, on drugs? Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Panthers. Yeah, Florida. Because of all the Canadians that fucking live in Florida, right? Tampa Bay, there you go. And Tampa Bay's a good team. Didn't they have one of the best players in the league? I don't know if they still do, but for like a long time. 1993 Stanley Cup win, the Canadians. 92, yeah. Sean, who's the baseball GOAT? Willie Mays, Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds. I was watching like a video yesterday on YouTube talking about Barry Bonds before steroids, Barry Bonds after steroids. Nothing different. Barry Bonds was still a 40-40 guy, still fucking hitting 320 and above, still a great fielder. Obviously, when he got older, his legs went, so he didn't steal bases and field as well as he did when he was earlier. And his swing was fucking the same. He was still hitting the home runs. The only difference was now he was adding a little more length onto his home runs, right? Some real deep ones, but still fucking great baseball player. Great. Venezuela, Tampa Bay Lightning, the Lightning. I didn't know, honestly. Then obviously you're not a hockey fan. Barry Bonds secured Hall of Fame career with the Pirates career alone. Yeah, exactly. How many 40-40 seasons does he have as a Pirate? And he was fucking a perennial fucking, like fielder as well. And always averaged like fucking 3-something. And he played with some great Pirates players. And he was the best, right? And I loved the Pirates as a kid. You know, the 1976, 77 team with that ugly hat with the stars, with Willie Stargell and fucking Dave Parker. That's some ugly fucking ghetto. Now you're fucking, look at that. What's he doing? Isn't that cultural appropriation? Stealing fucking Mexican culture with that fucking outfit? Cultural appropriation there, Lubin. I wonder if the brothers are going to call you out for it. El Jefe. Cultural appropriation, man. Florida is football, and football. That's true. For Floridians, naturalized Floridians. But for all the fucking snowbirds that live in Florida, it's hockey. And there's a shitload of Canadians that live in Florida. Let's see. How many Canadians live in Florida seasonally, snowbirds? And there's going to be more now. I heard 150,000 Canadians left Canada last year because of our government. But I have friends still telling me, oh, Canada's way better than living in the States. Canada's great. What are you talking about? It's like, really? Okay. Canadian Snowbird Association estimates that there's 350,000 Canadians that spend 3 to 6 months there every year, with another 100,000 spending 1 to 3 months. So almost 500,000 Canadians yearly spend their time in Florida. And they fucking retired with money. Most of them that love hockey, grew up with hockey, and probably have season tickets to fucking hockey. And we know Tampa Bay is a huge old people fucking city, right? Is it still a huge old people city? I know when I went to Florida in 1980 something, it was, but I assume it still is. I also went to Daytona, and Daytona definitely was not an old people place. Yeah. Who's walking out? The crowd? Well, why would they walk out? They're probably going to buy beers just to get ready, take a piss, buy a beer now. This fight doesn't mean shit. And make sure you get back and you're in your chair in time for fucking Lubin and Ortiz. You know, literally watching this fight, I have no fucking idea who's winning. Nobody's done anything at all fucking exciting. You could tell me Darius Fulgrim's winning. You could tell me fucking Stevenson's winning. And I would be like, okay, I have no idea. But Stevenson got a bit of that Joe Frazier in him. Joe Frazier. But unfortunately, Fulgrim has none of that fucking Muhammad Ali in him. None. Oh, can you just shut up, man? We don't need you sticking your big fucking nose in the fight. Bald-headed motherfucker. That dude is a cancer to the sport of fucking boxing. I don't know how he still has a job. Do you think Mbili will get a shot at Crawford or just get an email belt? Yeah, he's definitely not going to get a fight with Crawford. Definitely not going to get a fight with Crawford. Crawford is not going to fight at 168. If he fights at 168, it's because he's rematching Canelo. Other than that, he's not fighting at 168. I think the writing's on the wall. He's moving down to 160 to try to become a 4-weight undisputed champion, right? And probably fight Janibek, even though John Boxing and the anti-black boxing fans are all fucking concerned because they just won't let Bud Crawford fight some bum-ass opponent to finish his career. We're not fucking telling Bud Crawford to do fucking anything. Crawford's the one that said he's going to 160, and Crawford's the one who just aligned himself to fucking a Janibek fight. Nobody was forcing Crawford to take on any of those opponents. And people that were talking about him fighting David Benavidez, they're just fucking Benavidez fucking fanboys. Everyone from the north go to Florida to retire and bring hockey with them. Exactly. Tampa Bay Lightning, Lawrence Cole. Fucking dude is terrible. He always wants to stick his fucking ugly fingers into the course of a fight. With this fight, you don't need to do much because they're not doing much. Right? You break them up occasionally and that's it. Tell them, hey, watch your heads, watch your heads. Then Billy gives Bud all kinds of problems. Oh, yeah, for sure. No, he does. I mean, you look at the way Lester Martinez fought Billy, right? He obviously trains in Bud Crawford's gym. So a lot of things he did probably would be the exact same thing Crawford does. The difference is Lester Martinez is jacked and a legitimate 168-pound fighter. Crawford's not. That's why I said Canelo Alvarez, stylistically, he has the wrong style to beat fucking Bud Crawford. If he tried to fight more like Mbili in that fight, put more pressure on Crawford, fucking use those short jabs, up jabs to get Crawford against the ropes and fucking open up on him low and fucking throw hooks and get Crawford in the ropes, maybe he could have beat Crawford. But unfortunately, he don't fight like a Mexican, right? And the biggest problem Canelo had in fighting Bud Crawford and Floyd Mayweather is that he don't fight like a fucking Mexican. If he fought like a Mexican, he would have had more success with Floyd, like Maidana. He would have had more success with fucking Bud Crawford. like Kavalaskis. But low volume fighter who's just a counter puncher, man, you're not going to beat Bud Crawford with that style. Salute, Hawker Mustang. So that means Mbili is the WBC belt holder? Not yet. I'm not sure what the current rankings are. Let's take a quick peek. So right now, Iglesias is number 1 for the IBF. So they might make him fight Canelo Alvarez because Iglesias number 1, number 2 is vacant, Canelo is number 3, but probably not. The WBA has Canelo number 1, but Jose Resendez is currently the interim champion. So look forward to Canelo Alvarez fighting Jose Resendez to win that WBA title, right? Not a killer opponent, the kind of opponent that Canelo should beat to become a 2-time 168-pound champion. WBC, Mbili is interim champion, so he should be elevated. Canelo's number 1, Shiraz is number 2. And for the WBO, Canelo is number 1, Shiraz is number 2. So if you do that whole Turki al-Sheikh situation, which they wanted to do, you could do Hamza Shiraz for Canelo Alvarez. The winner becomes the WBO champion. So Canelo's going to get a chance, depending on what direction he wants to move. Iglesias and Mbili are probably going to be moved into that position. You could put Shiraz into potentially the WBO, and you could have Alvarez fight Resendez for the WBA. Truthfully, if it was to unfold the way I would want it, I saw Berlanga is supposed to fight Resendez, but then they're not thinking long-term very well. I would have Iglesias as the IBF champion. I would have Alvarez fight Resendez for that WBA, but we know how the WBA works. Obviously, Mbili becomes WBC, and then I'll have Shiraz fight for that WBO. So you have Mbili, Shiraz, Canelo, and Iglesias as your 4 world champions. David's excited, right, David? If you have those 4 guys as champions, that's fucking great. Think about the potential matchups you can get. Pacheco is not even in the mix right there. But you got, obviously, Pacheco as well. Lester Martinez, who's right there as a potential opponent. And then you got those 4 world champions. The fights you could do. And then you got Munguia, Berlanga, Charlo, Plant. It's a deep division with a lot of name recognition, so a lot of shit you could do. Mbili needs to fight and try to unify. Well, not unify. He doesn't have a title yet. His title is useless, worthless, doesn't mean anything. Rest in peace, Victor Conte. Anybody heard from Thunderdome Boxing? I haven't. I haven't listened to Thunderdome in years. But I did see Johnny Boy released a video from prison. I look forward to those videos. Listen to the whole prison fucking audio and stuff in the background. It's kind of funny, eh? Victor Conte has been getting a lot of hate. It's crazy. Well, a lot of that started from fucking Tank Davis, and it's probably Tank Davis fanboys who love Spence, hate Crawford, blame fucking Victor Conte for Crawford winning, hate Haney and Shakur, specifically Haney, so criticize Haney for Conte just so they could dick ride fucking Tank Davis. PBC waits to the very end of the year to put a couple good fights together, which is what they always do. Yeah, remember they used to always come out with a big fucking who is a Cancer? What is who is a Cancer? I'm a Capricorn. Like all the best people in the world. PBC running out of money. That's true. What's up, Stringer from above? Who's the biggest goofball of the year, Sean? Tank Davis or Schofield? Well, I won't put the goofball on Schofield because unfortunately, him and many fighters like him, it's their dads. Haney, Schofield, right? A lot of these fathers make their kids look bad because they just have big mouths and never shut the fuck up. Schofield, I think he's just a good kid that wants to fight. Unfortunately, his dad never shuts the fuck up. And unfortunately, he walked away from career opportunities. Tank Davis is the face of American boxing. So he's easily the biggest goofball of fucking the year. This guy was guaranteed a fucking bullshit $40 million fucking TO. Speaking of biggest goofballs of the year, it's Tio. Tio is easily the biggest goofball of the year. Look at those fucking fake ass rings you made. Come on, Tio. But obviously, Tank Davis, biggest goofball of the year. He lost $40 million because he keeps beating on women. I don't know if I can tell you who won a round this fight. Johnny Boy Boxing from prison. Laugh out loud. Yeah. I wish he'd put out more videos. Yeah, I don't know who won this fight. Is the fight over? I have no idea. Is the main event starting already? Soon. Norman Jr.'s daddy, pretty annoying too. Yeah. Norman Jr.'s daddy, Schofield's daddy, Devin Haney's daddy. There's a bunch of them. Who else? Obviously, a lot of them. Oh, fucking Benavidez' daddy, also fucking an idiot. Oh, idiot. Canelo is ranked number 1 WBC, and he will not fight Mbili. No, but he's ranked number 1 by 3 of the 4 sanctioning bodies. So he doesn't need to move in that direction, right? Maybe he will, but he doesn't need to. And in truth, Mbili is supposed to have a rematch with Lester Martinez. So for that WBC title, Mbili should have to fight Lester Martinez. The winner then becomes the WBC champion. That should be the way it goes. Tio's daddy, oh, douchebag. Jamel is going back and forth with Boots. Idiot. I watched some of these earlier fights, and this is like tune-up city. Hollow, don't sleep on Laura. Well, Laura's good, but if Janibek can't beat a 42-year-old fucking fighter at this point of his career, who's already lost several fights, he deserves to fucking disappear from acknowledgement. And he don't deserve big money fight with fucking Turkey Al-Sheikh Bud Crawford. Oh, you guys are fighting like 1970s heavyweights. Oh, it's brutal. Ugly. No skill. This is a pro box fight, right? Like, in all honesty, this fight should be on pro box. It should not be on a DAZN Golden Boy fucking fight card. So on this whole card, there's been one fight worth paying attention to, and that's the main event. Obviously, you had 2 good up-and-coming young Americans, but those aren't the fights that sell. You need to have a legitimate fight in this position, not this fight. No one gives a fuck about Fulgrim. Nobody knows who Stevenson is. And this fight is definitely not fucking captured the public opinion's fucking attention. Except to say, I hope I never see these guys fight again. And the commentating team is brutal. Like that one fight I saw earlier where the one kid was looking really good, Safar. All they could do was fucking shit on the kid because he didn't get a knockout. But meanwhile, he fucking masterclassed that guy, right? But yet all they did was shit on him. I'm like, can you guys shut the fuck up? Like, why is everything got to be so negative? Pro box is getting better lately. That's true. The fight yesterday was great. This is the ugliest fight I've seen in a while. Facts. Sean, PBC got a pay-per-view card in December. Of course they got a pay-per-view card. If you say pay-per-view, PBC, I think pay-per-view. A lot of these jokers tell me the 70s heavyweights were the unbeatable world beaters, Sean. Usyk couldn't compete. Because they're fucking tards, and most of them weren't even around during the 70s. I'm making a video this week about, the the current crop of heavyweights and how it's one of the best eras in boxing history. Easily. Far more legitimate than the fucking 70s. If you could name 4 fighters from the 70s, then you legitimately fucking pay attention to boxing. Most of these guys could name 3. Foreman, Ali, and Frazier. And then they'd be fucking struggling to name any more. He is nice, still on the low. Usyk too good. The Night of Samurai looks amazing. I don't know why John just needs to fucking make video after video shitting on that card. Like, actually, in Taiwan, it's not even pay-per-view. So that's even bigger of a bonus. But you have 3 pound-for-pound fighters on it. Ken Shiro's fighting Garcia to become a 3-weight world champion. The same thing Devin Haney's getting fucking all this hype for. The same thing Stephen Fulton is getting all this hype for. But Kenshiro Taraji is fighting a bum. Even though he's fighting a guy that won a world title, beat a champion to win a title, and now is the champion. A guy that Kenshiro's moving up as well to fight to become a 3-weight world champion. You could question if he deserves a fight coming off of a loss, but his loss was very close and very competitive. I am surprised they didn't do a rematch. But let's see. Who's the winner? Stevenson?
Go. And both judges,
A draw.
Yakabuchi and Chris Migliori are in agreement. They both scored the same 95 to 95. This bout is a majority draw. Lydia Sergio nailed it.
Like kissing your sister.
That this is exactly how that fight was going to go. It was going to be a long night for Darius Fulton. He was going to have his hands full. This was a draw-type fight, and that's exactly what happened.
That's because Fulgium is shit and can't fucking use a jab
Really gloat about over that. I
to
tell you,
win rounds.
Let's just get this one over with and move on.
Move on. You got beat, you have a draw.
Now 15, 2, and 1. Darius Fulton.
What opportunities? This is your,
14, 1.
like literally, Golden Boy's giving you another opportunity after being exposed. And you couldn't up your game to beat a fucking one-dimensional come-forward fighter because you are a one-dimensional come-forward fighter. None of these guys talking about the card, 3 pound-for-pound fighters, man. Well, but to be fair, outside of Devin Haney, Norman, they're not even talking about the other super card. They barely mentioned David Benavidez versus Yard and any of the other fights on that card. Right? So these guys are just casual. They just dick ride certain fighters, and that's the way they go. I mean, that's been shown time and time again. Do you think Picasso should get a second chance to lose to the monster? What do you mean, a second chance? He's his mandatory. You got to fight the mandatory, right? Especially if you want to fight Junto early next year. You got to make sure there's no roadblocks in the way. So how do you do that? You fight MJ, you fight Picasso, so there's no more mandatory fucking things pushing you. And now you're free to pick who you want in 2026. Junto. Raph, I still think Laura has enough to pull off a prime Laura. Makes it look easy. You said makes it look easy. But prime Laura was a dude that was consistently fighting at 154. Now he's at 160 against a much bigger fighter. The last time he fought a much bigger fighter, he lost in Hurd. And Hurd is not nearly as skilled as Janibek. Talent-wise, the heavyweights are now way above what they used to be. It's like comparing 75 football team to a team now. Exactly. And you can't use that to discredit and hate on. The question was, in the 70s, can you go out and tell me 15 world-class fighters that were fighting during that era? 15 world-class fighters, right? If you want to say Ali and Foreman are better than everyone today, that's fine. You can say that. That's fine, even though it's questionable. Because with Usyk and Fury, you could say equally similar things to them as well. But it's the depth of this current heavyweight crop. And this is not including guys that are coming up now. The Toma is not on my list, and it's not counting any of the guys prior to Fury beating Klitschko. So it's just from Klitschko getting beat by Fury to today. And that group of heavyweights in that period of time, it's deep. They were in great fights. They have great resumes, right? And the difference between now and the 70s is you just have obviously way more fighters that are at that high level. There's just way more and way more skill set overall. Ring IQ, just the one guy though. Prime Laura was struggling against Pero Angulo. Yeah, but that's stylistic, right? Like I said, if you're a Mexican fighter who puts on pressure, you're going to give those guys problems. And that's what Angulo did. Janibek struggled with Bentley. Bentley is a young, natural fucking middleweight. Lara is a 154-pounder who's 42, 43 years old. Has no more legs. He did not want to fight Inouye the first time. He was number one. His daddy said, no way. We know this is only for the bag. That's true, but it was for the bag back then as well, right? I don't think Foreman is better than Usyk. That's like criticizing Norman for fighting Devin Haney. He's fighting Devin Haney now, but he didn't fight Boots Ennis before. Why? Because of the bag. He fought Haney because now he's getting paid some legitimate cash. When he was offered 1.5 or 1.8, whatever it was to fight Boots Ennis, it was high risk, low reward. So they said no. We'll fight a cherry-picked Japanese fighter in Japan instead and get paid just as much money and have no risk of getting beat, which led them to a Devin Haney fight. So in hindsight, it was a smart maneuver from Norman's family. I don't think Foreman is better than Usyk. Oh, no. Skill-wise, no. But he's a beast, a monster. 60s Ali is the best fighter I've ever seen. That's a fact. I say that all the time. There's no heavyweight fighter I've ever seen that fucking moved the way 1960s Ali was. And the worst thing that happened to boxing was fucking Ali being fucked over in the whole Vietnam situation. They shouldn't have fucking even went in that route. It was just stupid. But, you know, Janibek will starch Lara in 5. Lara caliber opponents that Janibek starched in 5 rounds. Silly Aschenko, you got to be honest. What fucking legitimate opponent has fucking Lara fought at 160? He's been fighting bum-ass opponents at this weight class. Like real low-level nobodies. And I ain't hating on Lara, but Lara is obviously fucking well past his best. The guy's 42, 43 years old. He's doing very well at that age, and he's keeping his career going. But he's been utilized by the PBC in low-level fights that fucking haven't done anything for his legacy. He's been so inactive they don't even have him ranked on BoxRec. Well, what's going on? Why is not bad? Oh, it's because he's WBA champion? Oh, fucking BoxRec, man. They hate a motherfucker. Like, they don't even have Lara listed. How fucking hateful can you be? They got Zarafa ranked number 6. Didn't fucking Lara destroy fucking Zarafa? Middleweight division is weak, man. Weak. Yeah, fucking Lara stopped Zarafa in 2 rounds. Lara beat Danny. So Lara beat a 140-pounder. You want to make seem that like that was significant. Danny, who retired afterwards, came back to fight a bum-ass opponent that no one cares about, and now is thinking about keeping fighting. Like, Danny's been irrelevant fucking for years. He was literally irrelevant when fucking Errol Spence fought him. Irrelevant. PBC elevated it because they could use his name to do a pay-per-view, but he was fucking relevant. So here we got Lara, way better fighter than fucking Danny Garcia. He would have beat Danny Garcia any time in his career, without a doubt. At 154, at 160, of course, he did beat him. the first man to stop Danny. Oh my God. Danny's garbage. Worst feat in the sport. Over fucking rated. Didn't beat anyone legitimate at fucking 147. Didn't beat anyone at 154 and didn't fight fucking at 160. So you have him fighting at 160. Somehow that means something? What does that mean? Who cares? Come on, man. You're trying to fucking use Danny Garcia to legitimize fucking Lara. Lara beat Austin Trout. Lara beat legitimate fighters. We don't need to fucking mention Danny Garcia, one of the most overrated PBC fighters in history. I kind of disagree with you, Sean. I think if a man can make money in his country, he should have to serve if need be. But there was no point of having Ali fucking serve in Vietnam, which was a bullshit war to begin with. There should have been no fucking draft for the Vietnam War because there was no risk of fucking Vietnam ever threatening America. Like, for World War II, they had to have Japan bomb Pearl Harbor before America got involved in World War II, where Germany was literally going to take over all of fucking Europe. Japan was going to take over all of fucking Asia. Legitimate fucking global threats to America. Vietnam was never a fucking global threat to anybody. It was the bullshit communist crap that fucking, and whatever reason, that was a French issue. But America got involved. It was the stupidest thing ever. It made for good music and good movies, but to punish Ali because of some political bullshit, oh my God. That was the stupidest war America's ever been involved in. It was pointless. And to go fucking boots on the ground, fucking, how did that work out? Stupid fucking ploy. Lara style, bad for Bud. Well, bad for fucking Floyd too. Floyd fucking blatantly ducked Lara. Trout, Williams, Canelo are great wins for Lara. Well, he didn't beat Canelo, so that's unfortunately not a great win. Sean, do you think Inouye could be undisputed at 126 if the current champs would unify like they did at 122? I definitely think there's some tough challenges for him, like Espinoza with his length and size. But it would obviously be interesting, right, to see if he could become a 3-weight undisputed champion like Bud Crawford did. And obviously, if he only had to fight one guy to do it, like Bud Crawford, it would be similar. If he has to go in there and beat all the champions, then that's far more significant than what Crawford did. Facts. You beating Canelo Alvarez for all the titles is not the same as Inouye beating 4 different world champions, right? Machado got Bud over everyone else, though. I was just watching Paul Williams highlights. Fun guy to watch. Yeah, but his style with his length, weird. Hopefully I don't trigger St. John. Elijah Pierce is... Nobody even knows who Elijah Pierce is. Irrelevant. That's what he is. Irrelevant. So they don't even put Lara's age in here because he's too fucking old. Good reach, 75 inches, so he's going to have reach advantage. Lost to Paul Williams, which is a fucking blatant robbery. Lost to Canelo, and that was legitimate. He did lose to him. Had a draw with Vanes Madarajian. Lost to fucking Brian Castano. That was a fucking robbery. Castano totally beat him after Hurd. But after those 2 back-to-back losses, what did he do? Moved to 160, fought Roman Alvarez, Greg Vendetta, Thomas Lamont, Gary O'Sullivan, Michael Zarafa, and fucking Danny Garcia. You're literally fighting second-tier middleweights. Now you're fighting Janibek, who, outside of Carlos Adames, is the best fighter in the division. And knew he's ducking Elijah Pierce. Well, first of all, Elijah Pierce is now fighting at 126, so that's impossible. And Elijah Pierce has done 0 as a professional outside of getting beat. But I know we got to look for a black guy because, tribalism dictates that a black guy is obviously always better, even if they're not. Not all black guys are created equally. I just called my dad to remind my dad that this fight is on. He doesn't care at all. this fight doesn't move the needle and kind of is a cherry pick for Virgil's part, to be honest. Yeah, that's what I said all along. All week he was coming in here. Where is he? I knew he got to go up and beat Shakur. Oh, there you go, silly ass. You sound like 78. If Virgil was fighting Zayas, Boots, or maybe Murtazaliev, my dad might get excited. And that's what he should have been doing. I heard Inui is avoiding shit Carrington as well. How you avoid a dude that's at 126? Like, Carrington should be fighting the champions at 126. He's still a 27, 28-year-old dude who's never won a world title. So how is Inui avoiding him? Why would Inui ever fight him? He has 0 titles. Like, if Inui moves to 126, he's not going to fight Bruce Shushu Carrington. Why would he? What would be the fucking point? You're winning 0 titles in the fucking process. He needs to beat Murtazaliev at 154. You stole that narrative from 78. One guy people overlooked is Sagawa. Sagawa, who people think beat fucking Shushu Carrington. I don't know if I've seen the fight, but that's what I heard. And I like Shushu. Shushu, great fucking well-spoken kid, does the culture very well. But he's kind of being moved the same way Boots Ennis was moved when he was part of the PBC. Weak opposition, clout chasing everybody, but literally fighting fucking nobody, right? Let's go look at Bruce Shushu and see what he's done. Nothing, right? For his age, he's literally done nothing yet, even though I think he's a great fighter. But, you know, when are you going to fight Espinoza? Machado, did you see the way 78 went off on Tank fans? It was almost as fun as John's Night of Samurai thing. But I'm making a video regarding that because it's kind of ironic 78 and the LDBC are calling out Tank fans when that's exactly what 78 did for Deontay Wilder for fucking years. And now he's doing the exact same thing for Devin Haney. How do you fucking dick ride a fucking dude so much, but then criticize other people for dick riding a dude so much? Like, I laughed when 78 said it because it was ridiculous that he should say anything. That guy would have probably has blown Deontay Wilder numerous times, right? But yet he's going to criticize other people for being gay and fucking dick riders. Nobody's a bigger dick rider than fucking 78. And bigger, I mean big fat slob of a dick rider. Yes, I watched it. Carrington should have lost. It wasn't as bad as Naji Lopez, who should have faced the Yoskueda guy. Tank can do anything he wants, but Bud and Inui can't. Well, exactly. Why would Inui fight anybody without a title? Come on, boys. Well, no, he wouldn't. There's no need. Inui needs to fight Benavidez Yard winner. Of course he does. I don't understand why Shushu hasn't fought Espinoza yet. They're both on ESPN. Well, not ESPN, Top Rank. I haven't watched 78 in several years. Me neither, except for that video. Because it was so hypocritical. I was like, really? 78? You're going to use all this homoerotic fucking analogy to criticize Tank fans. You sound like fucking Ring IQ, who does the same thing. The only difference is I've never seen Ring IQ dick ride a boxer to the extent that 78 has. Like, have you ever seen any channel dick ride a fighter more than 78 did Deontay Wilder? That guy cried when Wilder lost. They fucking created the whole fucking Glovegate fucking thing. It's pathetic. Because you've never seen Tank Davis fans go nearly to the extent that 78 and the LDBC did with regards to fucking Deontay Wilder. There's never been a more cringeworthy thing than 78 fucking dick riding fucking Wilder. Even Floyd Mayweather fans, who are pretty fucking cringe, didn't go to the extent that fucking 78 and the LDBC did with Wilder. That shit was nasty work. But then he's going to criticize Tank Davis fans. Once again, proving you that you can't blame fucking black boxer, anti-black boxing fans. This is black boxing fans hating on black boxers. This fucking black on black crime is the biggest thing in American boxing. It's not racism. It's black on black crime. Bud Crawford, fucking Errol Spence, Tank Davis, fucking Haney, Tank Davis, Shakur, right? Like, man, It's crazy. Crazy work. Tyson Fury Gypsy King became the new king of Wakanda. Jamie McDonald was near the same size as Espinoza. He took care of Espinoza in 1 round. That's true, but Jamie McDonald is no Espinoza. Newton fanboy harder for Golovkin in the HBO days. That's not true. What I did was point out legitimate narratives. You think fucking Golovkin needs to fight better opponents, but then you justify opponents ducking Golovkin, like John, who spent years saying that Sergio Martinez shouldn't fight Golovkin. Cotto shouldn't fight Golovkin. He doesn't bring anything to the table. Oh, Canelo shouldn't fight Golovkin. He brings nothing to the table. I'm pointing out truth. You guys fucking say Canelo's ducking David Benavidez, but you literally spent years justifying world champions to duck Golovkin because you didn't want Golovkin to have the opportunity to prove himself. So you can continue to say, who did he fight? What did he do? He didn't do anything. It's the same shit we heard Spence and PBC fans do with Bud Crawford for years. 5 years of ducking him, only to get his ass beat when he fucking finally did step up. You dudes are cringe, man. LDBC Walter Glaze has to be the most ridiculous glazing of a fighter I've ever seen. These dudes are going as far as to say that he was the Ali of his era. John Boxing never addresses how the LDBC disses the culture. Did you get new glasses? Not new. Peter Quillen flat out ducked Golovkin. Not just Peter Quillen, multitudes. Sean was a disgusting GG fanboy back in the days, LDBC days. I wasn't a disgusting Golovkin fan. I was a Golovkin fan. What I always said was Golovkin's resume is weak, but like B-Hop and Hagler before him at middleweight, probably the biggest fights of his career are going to come later on because all the fucking dudes in that era were ducking him. That's what they were doing, blatantly ducking him. You know it, I know it. Me telling you the truth is not me glazing. Sean was at LDBC once upon a time. No, I created the LDBC. Lubin is going to have a reach advantage in this fight. Peter Quillen was a major disappointment. Martinez and Cotto were washed. The competition was better at 168, 175. So you're looking for reasons to get Golovkin beat as opposed to looking for him to build his name at 160. Typical. See, that's the problem with guys like you. And then you cry that Crawford fought at 168 and act like people forced him to do it. No one forced him to do it. That was fucking Crawford's choice. Big ups to Crawford. But what Golovkin wanted was undisputed at 160. So what's the problem? Oh, they were washed. Oh my God. Was Quillen washed? Was Sturm washed? Was Giel washed? Fucking, there's a ton of middleweight champions that ducked him. You can't use that excuse for all of them. Golovkin was the most feared in his prime Mike Tyson ever was. Newton, you are our white samurai. Much respect. Hey, thank you. GG, don't say that too loud though, because True School Sports will get upset and get bent out of his narrative that he is the best or the most Japanese focused non-Japanese person. And I'm not trying to compete. I'm just saying sometimes what he says, I'm just like, oh my God, dudes try to take credit for fucking everything. I can't lie. GG is a great fighter. One time, the boxing librarian told me that I created all the races that are in the YTBC. Yeah, remember I was going back and forth with Golovkin, with him and fucking that black dude, whatever his name was, Dan the Man. And fucking, boxing librarian bought into the whole racial narrative that Dan was pushing. And then what happened years later? He saw that it was all bullshit. And then we were cool with each other. And he saw everything I was saying was fucking true and factual. Right? I wasn't fucking being a racist. I was being legitimate. Did I say Golovkin fucking had the best resume ever? No. But there's a reason why. He was locked away in Germany, wasn't given opportunities, and then once he moved to America, fucking all the champions ducked him instantaneously. So what did he do? He did what he had to do. Stay busy doing what he had to do. You can only fight who fucking is in front of you, right? But let's get on to the fight.
And the fighting
This is a big moment for fucking Virgil. He got to win this fight impressively, man. Sergio totally ducked Golovkin. He's a bit of a culture vulture, yes. Oh, good. We don't need fucking national anthem.
Yeah, gentlemen, this is gonna be good right here on this side. Right here on this side, this is gonna be good for me. Okay. This is for the WBC.
Who's this guy?
Championship of the world. You got my instructions in the dressing room. I want you to protect yourself at all times.
It's not for a WBC title. There's no title on the line. There's no title on the line. The champion is Funduro. Stop. Stop the bullshit. For Lubin, this is his last bet, man. If he wins this, then he's going to get paid and good opportunities are going to elevate for him. But if he loses, he's fucking an afterthought and a guy that was a waste of talent. A typical PBC guy that never lived up to expectations. Never even had a chance to get hyped up because he got knocked out in one round by Charlo so early. In a prediction video where I said they shouldn't be putting him in with Charlo. He's too raw. He hasn't had the fights to get prepared for that level of competition. So I wasn't hating on him. I was being legitimate. And history proved me correct. I wonder if Virgil is going to call out Errol Spence for a big Texas brawl after this. He's kind of like Funduro. He would love that Errol Spence money fight as well. Is it just me or the camera angles and stuff for tonight just not that great? Both guys taking it slow early on, trying to figure each other out. Nice jab from Ortiz. He got to establish that jab. If he wins the battle of jab versus Lubin, it'll be an easy night. And then the offense will flow. See, Virgil cuts off the ring nice. Subtle, right? Kind of like Golovkin. The subtle slide of the footwork, nothing big, nothing dramatic, but he does it. It's a problem with some guys. They just don't understand. The guy earlier today that fought Safar, he just never made that little slide step to the right. Good straight to the body from Virgil. There you go. You can open up a bit. There you go. Shot to the ribs. If Lubin's going to spend all the time on the ropes, it's going to be a short fucking night. He just gave that round away. Literally, he gave the round away. It was a close round, and then that last fucking opportunity to get him on the ropes, 1-0, Virgil Ortiz. So you go from potentially getting the round to basically throwing the round away. Errol beats Virgil. No, shut up, man. At this point, Errol beats fucking nobody. Are you fucking stupid? I mean, I'm glad that you're fucking tribalistic, but don't say stupid shit. Use a little bit of fucking common sense. Sean, different subject. What happens when China invades Taiwan? Are you out of there? I don't imagine. But I already saw how the thing unfolds. Japan and America end up jumping in. We fight China off, and then it just goes back to normal. Look at my avatar. I can't see that small. Chimach, Santon have the best back and forth in the YTBC. I don't usually read it all because it becomes fucking like elementary school shit. So round 2. Yeah, you better stay in the middle of the ring, fucking Lubin. Getting on the ropes, that's just a wrong plan, buddy. Virgil's starting to become a little more aggressive. Lubin pawing with his jab. That shit don't mean nothing. Lubin loves to fight at a real slow pace. So basically that's what he's trying to do. Just throw out that feeler jab just to fucking sort of keep nice right hand down the middle from Ortiz. Now he got him back on the rope. Man, you're done if you're on the ropes, dude. Like, you're fucking showing people like John that he overrated you big time. He's more skilled. So far, I haven't seen more skills. Uppercut, buddy. Uppercut. His arms are fucking open. Throw the uppercut down the middle. That's what knocked him out against fucking Charlo in round 1. It's there now. Oh, he's done. Oh my God. Oh my God. Fucking easy work. Why are you on the fucking ropes, dude? That's what I said. Like, why are you on the ropes? How you think you're going to beat fucking Boots is like, yeah, big win. That's it. That's what we want. Now we can hype up the fucking fight between the two of us. And what suit are you wearing, De La Hoya? God damn. Like, that was a terrible performance by fucking Lubin. Terrible. Like, dude, why are you fucking on the ropes? Like, get to the middle. Fucking establish your jab, right? Hold him on the inside. Tie him up. Fucking keep that low volume. Because you know once Virgil opens up and lets his hands go, man, it just means you're fucking done. And that's what happened. What a piss poor performance. Garbage. Another fucking PBC hype job.
What's the statement you wanted to say to that man that showed up in Boots' tennis? That's the fight we need to see next. Boots, Virgil Ortiz. What an explosive fight that would be.
Yeah, Boots beat his opponent. Boots the Lima in round 1. Ortiz.
Round 2.
In round 2.
Like, why on the ropes, man?
We knew something was wrong. Either was trying to check and catch Virgil Ortiz off guard, but that's exactly what Virgil
He's squared up, man. You're on the roof, squared fucking up. Like,
Lubin kept him in the corner right there. That was a punch against the temple. That was the shots. 3 shots in a row. He was out on his feet. More of that movement from Erickson Lubin.
And by the way, sensational job by the referee.
this next one. Boom. Done.
He was about to get destroyed, and Green saved it.
He was out on his feet. The man had no more punch resistance. And when you're in there with a killer and a puncher like Virgil Ortiz, it's only a matter of time, man. He was out on his feet, out cold. Was Erickson Lubin.
He didn't say he wins. He was fucking touting him as the much more skilled fighter. That's the problem when you use tribalistic mentality and you don't fucking think about the fighters and the fucking style.
It's in his prime. Boots Ennis is in his prime. They're both undefeated, both KO artists. I mean, this is
Yes, you were, John. You're ready to place fucking Lubin pound for pound, top 10 for sure. Because Ramos fucking, unlike Virgil, can't fight outside of fucking second gear. He just got stuck in fucking second gear the whole fight. Another fucking wasted fucking opportunity. That's why Tim Tszyu wanted to fight him.
Here is the official time. 1 minute 30 30 seconds of round number 2. A referee in charge. James Green steps in to stop the contest. They're going to win by way of technical knockout. Still undefeated and still WBC Intro Super Welterweight Champion of the World. Virgil.
That's an ugly title. That's the interim belt. Fucking looks like a Mexican title. 24-0 with 22.
No one stopped guys like Bullchick. No one stopped guys like nothing. If you're going to stop someone like Lubin, you're going to be a special fighter. Charlo, world champion. Fedora, world champion. And that man right there, a future star and world champion, and Virgil Ortiz Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, November 22nd, Ring 4 live from Saudi Arabia. How about this card?
It wasn't pay-per-view. Free on DAZN. This fight wasn't pay-per-view. So I couldn't say too much bad about it. Hey, Machado. I was thinking similar. He was out on his feet like Jackson when he KO'd Terry Norris. Not quite to the same extent. Go watch that highlight again. Oh my God, that shit was crazy. Oh, let's listen to Virgil and see if Boots gets into the ring. They better let Boots inside. Face off.
Before I answer your question, I just want to wish my brother a happy 25th birthday. Joe Ortiz is right behind you. Let's go. Right here.
So evaluate that performance for me.
There wasn't much to evaluate. I just capitalized on his mistakes. Just took as much information as I could and used it.
After the first round, you came back to your corner, and Robert said, slow down a little bit. You've got rounds to win this fight. What adjustments did you make in that second round?
The adjustments that I made was just be cautious. That's really it. Everything that I do, any step that I do, make sure my hand is up, all that stuff.
What were you seeing from him in the first couple of rounds? You know he had that reach. You know he wanted to box. What were you doing to try to break that distance?
This is what I do best. Just box. I mean, that's it. I'm patient. People think I'm just a come forward fighter. Yeah, I'm a come forward fighter. I love to fight. That's why I'm in boxing. But to be a boxer, you have to be smart too. So I can be smart when I want to.
Take me through the finish. What were you looking for when you had him up against the ropes, and what did you land to knock him out?
I don't even know what I did, if I'm being honest. I was
Right hand to the temple.
The head, and he was already out before I knew it.
You know, you fought now 3 really top guys at 154 pounds. Do you feel like you're peaking as a fighter?
This is definitely my prime right now, man. I'm only going to get better from here.
That's a man that has been in with some of the best fighters in this weight class. Has been knocked out before, but I'm not sure he's been dominated in the way you dominated in these 2 rounds tonight.
Charlo, what do you mean?
You put that kind of performance together.
I kind of felt it, but I just had to believe in myself, and that's what I did. And you know what? There were so many people saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get outclassed. Oh, he's gonna knock me out." You know, something. Look, he's a great fighter, but there's levels.
How much did that motivate you going through this fight?
It motivated me a lot. You know, we're ready for the best. We want to fight the best. Boots, come over here.
Boots.
All right, so then you answer the question. Is this the fight that you want next? Virgil Ortiz against Jerron Boots Ennis?
I think this is a fight that has to happen, man. I think this is it.
It's the best fight in boxing. I think he did a great job. He looked good. But I'm going to show the world why I'm the best in the world. I'm going to show his team. They've been talking all crazy. They've been talking crazy. And I'm going to bang it up. And I'm going to show the world why I'm the best in the world. But like I said.
But no one's been talking crazy, bro. Your dad is the first one that said that I was ducking. And it's on video. It is on video. Like he said, we dug and we didn't get an offer.
It don't matter. The time is now. Is that time to get this money? You have to this fight.
It does matter because you said that we're the ones talking. We're not the ones talking. Oh, we started talking after you guys started talking. It's retaliation. It's retaliation.
Your man was talking all crazy.
That's true. The manager talking crazy.
So everything they say.
Ain't nobody's up here with it. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Whatever. I guarantee you.
I'm gonna take your money away, bro. I'm not
You ain't gonna take nothing. You ain't gonna take nothing. I guarantee you. We can bet any amount of money when we fight. I guarantee you, I'm going to win.
I don't bet, but don't make any promises you can't keep, bro.
I'm gonna make every promise and I'm gonna keep it. Straight like that. You're a great fighter. You look tremendous. But I'm still working on the best in the world. I got something for you.
You got a yes for me?
I got a yes right now. Hey, Eddie,
You got a yes? You got a yes for me?
Eddie?
You got a yes for me?
All right, two of the biggest stars in U.S. boxing, two of the best at 154 pounds, ready to go next year.
Woo! You know, now not the time to step to fucking Virgil because he's feeling like good, right? He's feeling himself because he just fucking destroyed Lubin. He's like, dude, you're fucking next, man. You're next, dude. You're next. Yeah.
It's that time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was a perfect time, too.
Yeah.
That was a perfect time. You know, everybody what they looking for. So they're like that. That's all that money.
Let's do it. Let's get that money. Let's get that money. Let's get that money.
Two super fight for our ages, right? I mean, this has the potential to be our version of Hagler Hearns.
This has the potential to go down as one of the greatest fights.
Hats off to Boots for fucking going there and doing it, right? And Virgil, man, Virgil's chilled, man.
Two different sides of the country, two different.
And what Virgil said is fucking true as far as the ducking shit, right? When those two teams got together with the zone to talk about this fight being next after they both had their fights, Boots' dad, and then afterwards, fucking, you end up having fucking Virgil's manager who came out and say, we don't know anything about this. We don't know anything about this. John called Virgil a hype job. How do you call Virgil a fucking hype job? The dude was rolling through people at 147. The Stanionis fight was getting a lot of hype, and we understand why both Virgil and Boots didn't get a big money fight at 147, because the fight to be made was Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. But do you think fucking Sean Porter or fucking Danny fucking Garcia or Ugis would have beat fucking Boots or Virgil? Fuck no. Get out of here. Those motherfuckers would have got flatlined by either one of them, right? Now they're at 154. They're both coming off of fucking dominant, destructive performances. And if you want to be fair, you better give Virgil Ortiz way more fucking credit for his win than you gave Boots, because you fucking were talking about how Lubin was going to beat Ortiz because Ortiz was fucking not that good, skilled, hype job, overrated. And he went in there and fucking destroyed that dude like he had no fucking business being in the ring. And I said that to begin with. There's no point to this fight. It's pointless. I mean, to stay busy and get another fight in, it so happens that with Boots in the crowd and everything happens, it's a great buildup for a fight, right? A great buildup. Kind of like doing a fucking Inui and Junto Nakatani on a fucking similar card so you can hype up the fight between them. But Junto and Inui, Boots and Virgil, man. And now you got Shakur and Tio. Woo! Three of the best fights of 2026. If you're a boxing fan, you should be hyped. And you shouldn't be fucking moaning and groaning because of tribalism. You should be excited that these fights are getting done. That shit's fucking dynamite. Dynamite. I'm officially excited for the fight. I got Ennis winning over Ortiz. Riyadh season energy. Ortiz clown Boots. But to be fair, I mean, you know, Boots is in hostile territory, right? It's just him there and the whole team. So he's calling out the team. He's doing what he should do. It will be what Spence and Crawford should have been, for sure. Ortiz is racking up a great resume. Facts. I'm putting my money on the dark horse, Xander, to be the man standing at 154. Hey, Xander Zaya is a young dude out of all of them, naturally bigger than all of them, and a guy that's got very good skills. And obviously he's going to have a chance to continue to develop before potentially taking on the winner of this fight. 2026 looking like a great year of boxing. That it is. Zayas could be the best at 154, but it's too soon to say. He should unify with Murtazaliev. Evan Deere, calm down. His next fight scheduled. He's going to fight WBA champion Abbas Abba to become a unified champion. Lubin is a way better fighter than Lima. After this fight, is that true? You don't think maybe Lima would have beat Lubin? But this is what we want. This is not tribalism or racial or hate. We want to see the best fucking dudes fight. That's it. And we'll find out who's the best. Whether it's fucking the dude that looks like you or the dude that looks like me or the dude that looks like none of us. At the end of the day, it's up to the fighters to prove how great they are. We can fucking say whatever we want in the chat fucking room, but Boots, Virgil, fighting now is great. It's a super fight. Whoever wins deserves fucking full credit, even though there's 0 fucking world titles on the line. 0. So you have a super fight, and all you get is a WBC interim title. Where are the Jesus Ramos fans at? That's you. That's you, David. You, the Jesus Ramos fan. Very weak-chinned fighter Lubin is. I realize Virgil's powerful, but Jesus, some of those 147 gatekeepers put up a better fight than Lubin. Both Virgil and Boots are active, coming off of great performances, while young Crawford don't got one win on his resume like the winner of Boots. See, once again, Evan, you going out of your way to shit on Crawford. Boots and Virgil both ducked Bud Crawford. Blatantly. They were fucking in position to be WBO mandatories, giving them an opportunity to become stars at 147 and potentially fight Spence for undisputed. They both ducked that fight. So let's not fucking bring Crawford into this conversation. This goes to show you that dude ain't got very good power. Canelo was clearly declining. I'm not a Ramos fan anymore. Yeah, afterwards. David, you got exposed. Exposed? David got exposed. They ain't done shit. They did. You can say what you want, Evan, but if you're a WBO mandatory, what does that mean? That means that you're going to fucking get a Bud Crawford fucking world title fight. Everybody did. Crawford didn't duck his mandatories. But the difference is Boots moved to IBF route, moving away from his WBO #1 position to go fight for an IBF title. Virgil Ortiz left to go fight for a regular WBA title. They literally both ducked Bud Crawford to go get fucking titles in other divisions. But you're going to say they don't duck. They blatantly ducked. And that's fine. That's the way their team wanted them to move at that point. It is what it is. We all wanted Spence Crawford, so that was the real significant fight. They weren't significant in comparison. Crawford is asking for too much money. Now you sound like a PBC fanboy. Only the PBC pull out the money shit consistently. Like, I never heard a bunch of fucking dick-riding fanboys more than the LDBC and how they fucking will always pull out money issues when it's fighters they hate and then fucking ignore it when it's fighters they like. Oh, Rigo didn't fight Lomachenko because Lomachenko lowballed Rigo. And then Rigo went on to fight for $50,000 in his next fight. Dudes, Deontay Wilder, he deserves more than $10 million. Only to go fucking fight somebody for less than $10 million in his next fucking fight. Come on, man. Boxing is a business. Go ask Bud. In a business, that's right. And unfortunately for Virgil, he almost ruined his business by staying at 147 too long. He could have capitalized on that Bud Crawford big money fight, but he didn't. And then fucking he almost ruined his whole career. And Boots, well, Boots been at 147 too long doing nothing. That's why he's saying, let's get the money. Let's get that money. Let's get that money. That's the biggest focus Boots has. Let's get that money. Because he hasn't been getting that money because the way his team's been moving him, just not right. Bud fights for money more than anything else. That's not true. Bud had a consistent contract with Top Rank. It wasn't about negotiating. The contract was negotiated. There was upside, but the fucking base salary was set in every fucking Bud Crawford fight. So it wasn't about money. It was about opportunity. But the PBC knew that when they fucking fought him, they would get fucking beat up and smoked. Because what happens to all PBC fighters? They all eventually get fucking proven to be hype jobs.
Right now, I wish Boots and Virgil would jump in there and go right now. This could be the defining fight of this era.
A generational fight between.
Took him time to get that fucking money, right? Like everybody, you earn it, you build up to it, like Floyd and Pacquiao and Canelo.
He's a little bit of boxer puncher, but he gets it. Both of them are vulnerable. Both of them can take a big shot. It's gonna be a fight for the ages. I'm telling you right now, that is a classic fight. I cannot wait.
Yeah, we're gonna hear from both Boots and Eddie Hearn and Chris Mannix in just a minute. But Sergio, I gotta ask you this: after Lima was destroyed in the first round by Boots, I said, what do you think Virgil Ortiz is gonna do to Erickson Lubin? You said, Todd, I think he's gonna look a lot like this. I think Ortiz is gonna blast right through him. You since walked that back, completely changed your story and your tune, but you should have stuck with it. You nailed it.
I should have stuck to it, but look, I'm also human. I was watching Erickson Lubin. I believe what he told us when we interviewed him.
Make a video on what?
The game plan was there, but the
I was entertained.
not there anymore for Lubin. He got hit in the side of the head. We should have
Evan, I made multiple videos on that.
A power puncher that has dynamite in both hands, and the last thing you want to do is give him another.
What is Nordic doing?
With your back against the ropes, Lubin failed this miserably. And I'm telling you right now, Virgil passed with flying colors.
All right, so there's really not much else to say about that fight. It was so brief. So let's talk about that matchup: Boots versus Virgil Ortiz. Your first up.
Taraji and Nui Nakatani, probably all going to the Hall of Fame.
Change your mind between now and then. Who do you give the edge to early now? Boots versus Virgil.
Virgil. Initially, it was Boots.
Yeah.
See how I changed my mind? Initially, when they asked me that fight, it was Boots, and he has more tools in his toolbox. But that's a monster we're watching right now. That's one of the biggest punchers in boxing in Virgil. He has a great team behind him. He has momentum, and the knockout streak continues. I can't wait for that fight, but now I'm swinging towards Virgil.
As for the aesthetics of the fight, what kind of fight will it look like? Who's going to be the guy pressing the face, and who's going to be the guy maybe more aggressive?
Right now, we never see Virgil box. And we've seen Boots box and be a puncher. So I think it's going to be Virgil on one gear coming forward, and Boots trying to figure out how to hurt this monster, how to outbox him, how to get him respect. It's going to be a lot of things to do, and that's the brilliance of the sweet science. These are two completely personalities, two completely different styles, and that's why it's a mega fight.
All right, let's turn it over now to Chris Mannix, who's got a very interested observer here at ringside with Eddie Hearn.
All right, we're going to
Eddie.
out of you guys and step inside. Eddie, we'll bring you on in here. We'll bring Gerard Boots Ennis on in here in just a moment. Eddie, I'm gonna ask Boots.
If I could be any boxer in the sport, I'd be Eddie Hearn.
It's a spectacular performance.
Great performance.
I'd be Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn's got the best job out of everybody.
This whole exercise for us is not about diminishing the achievements or the quality of Ortiz. We rate him highly. That's why we want him. Because we think he's the best in the division outside of John Boots Ennis. There are people who think he is the best in the division. And all Boots wants to do is prove he's the best. It's 1B2 at 154 pounds. You felt the energy in there. It was incredible. Two guys there in their prime. It's been like 35 years since we've seen a fight like this of two guys in their absolute primes. You don't normally get marinates. You see it in their 30s. Let's, for the love of the sport of boxing, let's just please make this fight. There's nothing like it.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, I know you had some uncertainty going into tonight about whether that fight would happen. What was your reaction seeing Virgil call for the fight?
We love it. I mean, that's, it's a fair play. We all sat in a room. We all agreed a deal. We went away. We got it done from outside. And Eric Gomez called me a couple of weeks ago and said, listen, we've got a tough fight. After that, you have my word. We're going to try and make this fight. Tonight, we didn't know what kind of reception we were going to get, but we got this man in the ring, and we're sitting another side to Boots Ennis. Normally he's all quiet. Tonight he's had about 4 fights with Charlo, Ortiz. He wants all the smoke, but the smoke that we want is the guy that he's supposed to be the best.
I like his bag.
He's the best.
Boots, I started this conversation with Eddie. We got to talk about what we saw. I mean, that was impressive by Virgil Ortiz to go through looking like that.
Yeah, like every guy, we look good, but it's been in time, and quite so on the road, I don't consider it better, but like I said, they've been talking today, 6-7 months, they're talking crazy, saying this, saying that. I'm talking up the window. Let's get to it. Let's start this fight. I'm ready.
That's true, Hollow
You said
Ninja.
a minute you thought this was going to be a 50-50 type of fight. Are you surprised at the way that Virgil mowed him down?
No, fight is boxing. Anything happen. I say he did good. He did good, but it's my time. I'm taking over this division for sure. Like that's stable. And hopefully, they do their part, they sign their part, and we make this fight happen as soon as possible and get the fans what they want. Like I said, I'm going to shut everybody up. They're gonna be real mad and sad.
I said to Eddie, coming into this
Real
weekend,
mad
there
and
was some
sad.
uncertainty about whether that fight would be next for you guys. But Virgil was first in there and said, "Hey, Boots, come on over here." What did you think when he called you over?
I'm glad they allowed me in the ring, because we was having some problems on the way here. I heard that they didn't want me to get in the ring. I heard that they didn't want me to be here. There was a lot of things going on. We came here on our own. We came to Gay, Texas, to make this fight happen. Hopefully, like I said, this fight happen. And where's the rest of the contract at? Let's make this happen, please.
Your first,
talking too much.
your first time sizing it up in the ring, a couple of back and forth there. You guys brought up some history that you got together.
Yeah.
What was it? What was that conversation like on your end?
I basically just sum it all up. I basically saying the time is now. We both have crimes, and I feel like this fight. I feel like this fight bigger now than it was 6 months. I came into the division, and I brought a lot of odds. As soon as I stepped into the 154 division, everybody wanted to see what I look like. And I feel like I brought a lot of attention to this weight division and brought a lot of attention to this fight tonight because I kept saying I was going to come and things like that. So
That's true, Evan.
I think Eddie's right. Like, this is the most animated I think I've ever seen you for any fight. What is it about Virgil Ortiz and this fight that brings this out of you?
I'm just ready to shut everybody up. Everybody talking too much. They saying this. I ain't fight this person. I ain't fight that person. Besides Lubin, I would say staying on this was a tougher fight than anybody that Ortiz fought. Ortiz won the 154 for 2 140 pounds, and one of them I knocked out before him. So like everybody keeps saying I ain't fighting, but I ain't fighting nobody. That's cool. But I became a world champion, a unified world champion, a lineal world champion. I'm at another weight class. I'm about to win some more belts. I'm about to take over this whole boxing game. I'm about to be the face of boxing, mega superstar. That's it. I need that paper.
And he needs that paper. I know you got a busy week next week with Ben and Eubank, but you'll see some DAZN people over there. What kind of conversation do you expect to have?
DAZN, they are the paymasters. They are in charge of the fights. The new Ultimate subscription. These are the kind of events that we want to offer subscribers, right? And they will have to put pressure on us. They've done that already, by the way. That's why when we went into the last fight, we'd already agreed to fight Ortiz as part of the plan. So I hope they can do the same with Golden Boy and with Virgil Ortiz and put the pressure on them. We're in. We've signed for the fight. Yeah. We don't have to do anything other than wait for Golden Boy to say the word, we've got it done.
Whatever else you need me to sign, let me know.
Don't say that. You can't say that to things like people like me.
All right, well, I hope we get our first super fight in 2026. That's going to be a mega event between Bruce
Eddie's funny. Eddie. Don't tell me if you want to sign anything. I'll sign your life away. Virgil kills Boots' body. It's over. Dude, what Charlo should do is fight Jesus Ramos if he beats Mosley Jr. Virgil Boots is much better fight than the Canelo Crawbum clown show. Ortiz keeps improving. More hell be nightmare. He'll be a nightmare. And this is good at counterpunching because all of these guys are occupied. Don't mess with the PBC. Lubin didn't even commit to anything. Man, at the end of the day, the best thing that could have happened today was the result of fucking Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis in the ring together with a face-off. Great chemistry between the two of them. You got to see a lot of personality from both of them, right? Obviously, neither guy are big talkers, but, you could see the confidence and the arrogance from both of them. They both are super fucking confident that they're going to win. And that's what you need, right? And the thing that's going to make this a huge fight is that this has all the racial components that John Boxing and the LDBC and these racially charged fucking YouTubers love, right? We can play the race card, right? We could push the race card hard. And the irony is, for John, he's been one of the most negative guys on YouTube towards Boots Ennis for years now. He still thinks Boots is ducking fucking Speedy Ellis. Right? So, it's going to be funny and ironic that all of a sudden he's dick riding and jumping on Boots Ennis to fucking hate on Virgil Ortiz. Because, of course, you got to support the black guy and you got to hate on the Mexican. That is his typical fucking, thing. For me, at this point, I'm not sure who's going to win. I've been a big fan of Virgil Ortiz, and I've been a big fan of Boots Ennis. And as I said, historically, Virgil Ortiz's resume is much better. He's been in with much better competition than Boots Ennis. But that alone doesn't mean he's going to be better and win. Obviously, it's going to be a style matchup, and it'll be interesting to see, how things unfold. I'm going to have to watch some tape, check things out, and try to determine who I think is going to win and how. At this point, I don't know. It's 50-50. I don't know who to lean towards at this point. Why does John hate Ennis? Because he loves Speedy Ellis, right? I don't know. Sean, they all don't like Boots because he helped Canelo. That's true. That's recent news, but John didn't like him well before all of that. Easy work for Boots. He's about to take over, then move up to beat Timu GGG Janibek at 160. Wow. Maybe. We'll see. John Boxing is always trying to instigate a race war. Well, that's like all those dudes, man. Dante Boxing Nation, he's going to be out there fucking hating on Virgil Ortiz after today, and Dick riding Boots. You're going to have all fucking those guys doing the same thing, Fan Boxing and Blue Blood and the rest of them. Does Blood Boxing still have a channel? He will say, I think, before moving up. Sean John Boxing now says Boots beats Bud. Shut up. No, he didn't. Come on, you're lying. John never said that. If John is saying Boots beats fucking Bud Crawford, that just shows you turnaround is fucking fair play. Right? This is a guy that's been dick riding and pushing Bud Crawford for years, pound for pound number one, just so you'd have that fucking natural fucking replacement for Ward and Floyd Mayweather. Even though Ward never established himself as number one. Sorry, he didn't. Beating Kovalev did not establish him as the best fighter in boxing at that time. Crawford now arguably has done that. And now you're going to hype up Boots Ennis based on beating a fucking fighter that was a cherry pick opponent? Like if any non-black fighter was taking on that level of opponent, John would have been making videos shitting all over him on his weak competition. I didn't do that because unlike John, I don't fucking hate on everybody's fucking opponents. Dante Diabetes Nation is trash. I wonder if Precise will say this fight was fixed. Is Precise still making videos? That dude, whatever happened to him? When people were pointing at fingers and saying people are being racist, that's definitely fucking Precise. So John said that fucking Boots would beat Bud Crawford. See, that's a PBC fanboy narrative. An Errol Spence dick riding narrative. Teo going to beat Shakur. Precise been gone for a bit. Blood has been putting out a live stream every once in a while. He needs to make more videos. Shakur beats him easy, but I think Teo will duck. Apparently the fight's been said. Somebody earlier today in the live said the fight's fucking set. Oh, there you go. Fight set for January 31st. No, I think Shakur wins, right? It's a great matchup, but I just think Shakur stylistically is the wrong style for Teo. What does Shakur bring that would make Teo duck him? Skill. John Boxing said in a comment thread of one of his own videos, Shakur will embarrass Teo. He has no punching power at world level. You don't need punching power to beat guys that fucking are counter punchers and low volume fighters like Teo is, who consistently gets outboxed. I don't see a reliable source. Machado, damn, I saw the comment. St. John wasn't happy, laugh out loud. Teo was counted out twice and stepped up. Jermaine Ortiz is also a better win than anyone Shakur got in his resume. Is he? What has Jermaine Ortiz accomplished? Never been a world champion. Ortiz beat Teo and was robbed. Exactly. But, it's like all this banter and back and forth means nothing. It's easy to pick and choose your narrative to hype up one guy because of this win and shit on another guy because of this. Little G was beating Kovalev many years before Ward beat him by robbery. is a menopause never happy. The pure boxing style is kryptonite for boxer punchers. It's a very boring matchup, but it favors Shakur. And that's probably stylistically what it's going to be. A boring fight, a lot of hype, but a disappointing performance where Tio just gets outboxed by the better boxer in a fight where we're kind of like, he won, but did that really elevate him? I mean, I know you got the win on your resume. You become a 3-weight world champion or 4-weight world champion. Yeah. So for Shakur, if he beats Tio, he'll be 130, 135, 140. Huh? Sorry, 126, 130, 135, 140. So he'll be a 4-weight world champion. I wonder if people will push him like they're pushing Devin Haney becoming a 3-weight world champion. And Tio is a way more legitimate victory than fucking Brian Norman Jr. Tell me I'm lying. I got Tio winning. Let's bet on Vimo. Barboza was a boxer puncher. Could Tio rise to the occasion like he did versus Taylor? I know I counted him out in that fight. He could, but I would compare it more to the Lomachenko performance. Because Taylor, we could say, was already kind of shot and past his best. Could Tio pull out that kind of performance? Sure. Tio's super explosive, fast, explosive, right? He definitely brings something different to the table than probably Shakur has been fighting for his career. And to be fair, Shakur has two vacant titles, only one legitimate title versus Jamal Herring, right? So he beat 2 champions, Valdez and Herring. And then he was gifted fucking vacant titles at 126 and 135. He did beat Zepeda, which obviously is a good victory at 135. Now he's going to 140 and taking on a legitimate long-term world champion who's a legitimate 2-weight world champion and arguably a 2-weight undisputed champion in Tio. Tio's a douche, but for Tio, this is a career-defining opportunity. If Tio beats Shakur, his legacy is cemented. Cemented. Yeah, Barboza beat Catterall in a boring fight. Zepeda was a washed P-level guy. Zepeda was washed? We're not talking 140 pounds Zepeda. We're talking 135 Zepeda. Bruce Vane. He's a fucking an idiot. But I am going to utilize his video where he fucking uses 78 shitting on Tank Davis fans. I'm going to use that clip from Bruce Vane's in my video. Tio's a 2-time lineal and 2-time undisputed champion. True, he is, by all legitimacy. If the politics of boxing did not get in the way, that's exactly what he would have been. He would have been the first 2-belt, 2-weight undisputed champion before Crawford. Of course, Andre Ward could have done that years before, but he didn't because he's a fucking prima donna. But let's get back to YouTube. We got some basketball, some college ball I didn't watch yesterday and today probably, and some NBA to keep up on. So, it's going to be interesting. And I'm curious to see what John Boxing has to say about his terrible fucking prediction. What was my prediction? I think I predicted Ortiz to knock Lubin out in the 9th round because, unlike John, I don't base my predictions based on race. I base my prediction based on facts and tangible evidence. But where is it? Oh, there we go. Yes. So Ortiz by 9th round. I also had Fulgrim by 5th round, so that makes me look bad. I had Safer. I had Priest. Priest got a draw, so that's not good. Fulgrim had a draw. And Jones, I predicted. Oh, Jones, I got right. 3rd round, right? I got it. Oh, no, not Jones. Sorry, I was thinking the heavyweight. Purdue will win the Natty this year. Machado Cameron is a B-level guy. Crap resume. Butte had an IBF belt. Ward never held all the belts at 168. Never did. He ducked both opportunities to become undisputed. Oscar Golden Boy fighters are overrated. There's a reason Oscar hardly ever lets them have cross-promotion fights. Well, you could say that, but there could be no promotional fucking company worse than the PBC for fucking hype job fighters that end up being exposed. Ward had 2 chances to be undisputed and ducked both. Facts. Ducked fucking 2 Canadians, Butte and Adonis Stevenson. And he also ducked Adonis Stevenson at 168 as well, which is why Adonis Stevenson went up to 175, because he couldn't get the Andre Ward fight. So he said, fuck this dude, and went to 175 to knock out the champion Dawson. Shakur shouldn't get much credit for beating William Cepeda. Why not? It's a good win. PBC fighters were Golden Boy fighters, though. That's true. You got me there. You got me there. That's fucking the most legitimate comeback in boxing fucking history. He fucking got me completely. Yes. PBC fighters were Golden Boy fighters. So yes, they're all fucking hype jobs. Nice one. See, a tribalistic boxing fan couldn't have come back with that comeback because that would fucking expose the PBC. But yes, no statement has been more true than that statement. Let's put it up there so people in the future can see it. But cheers, everyone, for jumping on. The card today, a little disappointing, but the final fight, well, short, definitely was a statement matchup. And more so than anything, the face-off between, obviously, Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, hyping up their eventual, not unification fight, but their eventual fight in 2026, which, along with Shakur and Tio, Junto and Inui, and there was one more. What fight am I missing? I know there's another big fight that was on the thing as well. But 2026 is really shaping up to be fucking great. And as far as DAZN's fucking high-tier shit, fuck DAZN. Don't buy that shit. Just buy the pay-per-views as you want. The big ones buy, the rest say fuck it. Because they're giving us fucking bullshit English pay-per-views that are pure garbage. Garbage. Like today's fight wasn't pay-per-view, but it was a better card than those last few fucking UK fights from fucking, what's his face? Not Eddie Hearn, but the other fucking English guy. I'm rooting for Tio. Boots will make it look easy if Oscar ever agrees on the fight. Well, if Oscar agrees to the fight, it's probably because it won't be easy. It's because Virgil is too legit to quit. And I don't think it's going to be easy. I think stylistically it's a great matchup. Real legitimate. And I've always been impressed with Virgil Ortiz, right? He's been moved very well by Golden Boy early on in his career. Well, unfortunately for Boots, the PBC and Showtime, they fucking butchered his career, moving him like garbage. Fact, Sean, the Parker fight had no business being on pay-per-view in America. And not just that one, there was the other one as well. Wardley Parker, and then there was another fight card from the UK as well. It was just like, really? Even the fucking Eubank Ben card. Go look at that card. Pure garbage. Who in America would pay money fucking for that card? Outside of the main event, which no one gives a shit about anyway, unless you're from the UK, and you obviously watched their father's fight, which most Americans didn't and don't even know who they are. Why would you be interested in that fight card? There's a bunch of bum-ass opponents on the undercard. Bums. Boots very easy to hit. He better tighten up his defense. I'll buy the Eubank fight, though. I won't. But to be fair, most UK cards I don't buy because they happen my Saturday night when I'm sleeping, and I don't want to wake up to watch most of that garbage anyway, unless it was the old stack cards with Anthony Joshua. But these other ones, pass. Fuck that shit. But thanks everyone for jumping in. It's been a good day. I appreciate it, and I will see you next time. And remember, I got my heavyweight video coming out later this week talking about why this generation's heavyweight division was the best ever. Better than the 70s. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.